And it ain't even enough. Hey, can you? Yeah, I gotta do this thing. Hey, what's going on? How y'all guys doing? All right, not too bad at all.
See how we could do that. 1 second. What's the best way to do this? Probably this way. Nope. Let me adjust this real quick. Okay. Yeah, this is how it'd be. That's good? Yeah. All right. What I'm gonna do is quick thing. So 4-minute intros for both you guys. We're also gonna do 4-minute closings. Does anyone want to go first?
1 second.
Sure.
Can you go right in the mic and just say like testing real quick?
Testing.
You're pretty quiet on my end.
Okay. Let me go ahead and turn that up then.
Yeah, same thing. Both of you guys are a little bit quiet on this end.
All right.
Yeah. Yep. That's why it makes me wonder if it's in, since both of you are low for me, if it's in the settings of this program maybe. Is there settings for me to adjust the audio upwards on my end?
You know what? I can go ahead and do it on my end for you guys and turn up the audio.
Well, you sound way better now, but there's a little bit of static in the background, but you're much louder now.
Okay, good. And Cap, can you speak for me?
You sound fine.
Yes, it's good now. And I turned you up a little bit on my end. All right, so we'll do 4-minute openers, 4-minute closings. Who wants to go first?
Doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter? All right, cool. I'll just you know what? All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put you guys both backstage. I'm going to go ahead and go live on my channel. Once I go live, I'm going to do a quick intro, play my intro, which is about a minute long. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys up and we're going to get to it. Okay.
All right.
All right, cool. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. I'm your host, Cooley. Tonight we have a special, amazing episode. It is Debate Night featuring Andrew Wilson and Captain Tazaryach. They will be debating polygyny. Is polygyny good for the West, and is polygyny a sin? Right before I go ahead and bring these two
doing new things are okay with understanding the reality that we are in competition with one another. But you ladies think that you're special. You are in comfort. Men are men of their word. So here's my word. I'll fly you out here and we can do it in person. And after that, we could box. I'm about my business. So remember I said, when I ask you these questions, I will dismantle your entire argument. That's the end of the debate, my dog.
I'm 39, but I don't look your typical 39.
Belly.
Yeah.
You look 39. It's okay
Shut
though. That man isn't intimidated by a woman like you. He's annoyed by a woman like you. Because a man doesn't want to date another man. He wants to date a woman. All right, chat. Welcome back to No Fugazi Podcast. As usual, let's get to normal scheduled programming before we bring the two gentlemen up. So normal scheduled programming, we have a few links in the description. The first link is to join the membership. We got 3 tiers. First tier is Gang. Second tier is Hitman. Third tier is Mob Ties. If you like this podcast and you want to support the podcast and continue to watch it grow, go ahead and join the membership, man. It looks like we went viral again, so just reached another 30,000 subscribers in just this month. So why not subscribe and be a member, man? It's good content that we're pushing out, and we have an amazing debate for you guys tonight. And then the next links is going to be for one-on-one coaching. Then we got the Clips channel, and then all of the social media is right in the description. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to any of my channels and any of the guest channels, we're going to have their links down below as well. We got the Facebook, the TikTok, the Instagram, the X, all of the accounts right below in the YouTube description. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get ready to run.
Let's get ready to rumble!
All right, here we go. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast, Cap and Andrew Wilson. Looks like he's just bringing up his screen now. Okay, fellas, Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. So we spoke behind the scenes, and it looks like both of them were equal. They was like, I don't really care who goes first. But for you guys, we are doing 4-minute intros, and then it's just going to be, free for all debate. So open format debate. Other than that, if things get a little out of hand, I will, jump in every now and then. But, these two guys are professionals. They've been doing it for a while. So it probably will get out of hand. And I may have to jump in and do like a 30-second timer or 1-minute timer. But whatever we need to get the debate done and create some decorum, we'll get it done here at No Fugazi Podcast. So I guess I'll go ahead and pick, since you guys were equal on it. So how it'll go is I'll go ahead and have Captain Tazaryach go first. Since he'll be going first, then for the closing statement, he'll give his closing statement last. I believe that's how it works. Okay? All right.
Okay, so you're saying I'm go first?
Cap, you're actually muted on my end. I can't hear you.
Oh. Okay, can you hear me now? I apologize.
You're perfect. Yes, sir.
Okay. I was just making sure my audience can hear me. They said they couldn't hear me earlier when I was streaming. So I was just making sure they can. But you said I'm going first, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then you'll be going last for your closing statement.
Okay, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm just make sure my audience tell me that they can hear me before I start. Make sure we don't have no technical issues there. Let me see. Just making sure we're good to go. I appreciate you. Okay, they're saying I'm good. All right, perfect. All right, so I think the topic that Cooley picked, if I'm not mistaken, is polygyny. Can polygyny save the West? Is it a sin? Is the topic of this particular debate. I remember initially I had said to Cooley, we need to have something Bible-based in there, and then I didn't read the part where he said, is it a sin? And so I was comfortable with the subject. So my position on polygamy, if I say polygamy, forgive me. That's what I'm used to saying. That's the word I'm used to saying. So on my subject on monogamy, polygyny, is that the Bible doesn't say it doesn't mandate either. It's only when you get to Christianity, and if you want to say the Western way of life, that they mandate monogamy. But at the same time, all manner of whoredom is promoted. All manner of fornication is promoted. And where Christianity fails God and why they're in sin is that marriage is only if you get that government contract that actually validates the contract between a man and a woman. And so even though you have that contract of a man and a woman, that same man can have as much outside sex as he wants. The woman in some cases has outside sex that they want before they even get married. I remember my dad told me before I get married to sow all my oats, to make sure I got it all out the way, because once I'm married, I got to be with this one woman. That's sin. Because according to the Bible, when you lay with a man or woman, that's marriage. So when we say what can save the West, I would say morality can save the West, because the West has absolutely no morality. It doesn't know how it exists. In the West, you can be gay and be married. You could be lesbian and be married. 1-to-1. So what does monogamy really mean in the West when gays can get married in the West, lesbians can get married in the West? So I think all of it is a sin. And from a moral standpoint, if we actually understood what sex really was to God, we would all stop sinning and then put real value on what marriage actually is. I'll land right there.
All right. Thank you for your opener, man. And Andrew Wilson?
I don't really understand what the arguments were there, but just to address them very quickly, marriage is a government contract. It's not a government contract, has no bearing on any of this. He says morality can save the West. The debate topic's not about whether or not morality can save the West, but if polygyny can. In this case, is it even good for the West? I'm even willing to accept that. But I'll dive right into my opening here. Today, we debate if polygyny is good for the West. The answer here is a resounding no. I've often believed that the pro-polygynist crowd only advocates for this because they want to fuck a bunch of different women and justify it. It really is that simple. The strange part here is why advocate for any form of marriage when you can already do that. Think about it. My opponent doesn't believe in state marriage. You heard him just say it just now. He doesn't think it's in any way meaningful ultimately, so there isn't anything stopping him or anybody else legally from just declaring they are married and have many women live with them. And they can hump them. They can have children with them. In fact, his version of polygyny is basically practiced right now by the black community by and large, and it just creates a single mother factory, which in turn destroyed their entire civilization in America. It's done all over the country, in fact, by small handfuls of people, and the outcomes are never great. To the meat of the argument, my opponent often says, and this is a really weird one, that women aren't engineered for polygamy, but men are engineered for polygyny. His argument goes like this. A man can procreate with many women at a time, and a woman can only procreate with a single man at a time. I don't think I've gotten that wrong. He is appealing to plumbing and nature here, but the argument has a massive hole in it. You see, friends, he needs to explain that if this is supposed to be some natural way things are done, just based on the possibility they can be done, why almost equal amounts of boys and girls are born naturally. It's 105 boys for every 100 girls. So actually, boys actually have a slight advantage there. So if it was the natural conditional that men were supposed to have many wives, why are they born in equal rates to women? That's a really stupid argument. If nature was making an appeal to men being with many women, why wouldn't it distribute the male category as being significantly lesser than the female category? Makes zero sense. Also, wouldn't it be natural for women who value resources and protection to desire many men who could provide that? Also, let's be real. Much like with the LGBTQ, polygyny advocates hide behind vague language of love without actually explaining the mechanics of what they want. It's a way to mask how degenerate the whole thing really is. I actually want my opponent tonight to explain the mechanics of polygyny and multiple wives. Can you have sex with them all at the same time? Can one suck your balls while the other one sits on your face? Can one fluff you with her mouth and to get you ready for the next one? Can you half ejaculate into one, pull out and finish in another one? Can one of your wives spit cum into another one of your wives' vaginas, bro? Actually explain the mechanics of what is permitted. Not just that, but Muslims at least have some kind of ecclesiology when it comes to who can and can't practice polygyny with specific guidelines. Where's the ecclesiology of my opponent to describe who gets to and who doesn't get to be a polygynist? Is there an income threshold, living standard? What's allowable? Polygyny increases social instability and crime. It leads to serious harm for women and children. It's simple. Why? Adults in the home of non-biological children increases the risk to the safety of those children by massive rates. It doesn't matter if this is male or female. Every social study done by any side of the argument doesn't even dispute this point. It splits a father's attention between which in-group to give preference to based on which wife. It's the stepchild problem in real time. Next, this is a class-dependent lifestyle. Why would we try to waste any resources normalizing it in any way? Right now, it's difficult for one man to afford one family, let alone many. And the ability for the men to afford these families is going to be dependent on having a status unattainable to almost all men. Evidence for my claims, if you'd like them, I can pull them up for time purposes. I'm not going to go through it. I'll go right to the biblical stuff. I know that you want to get into that too. If you'll humor me, if I need a slight extension here, I hope you will. But I wanted to dive into those very quickly if you'd like. Let's start with Adam and Eve. If God wanted to have multiple wives, why didn't he create multiple wives for him? When asked about divorce, Christ quotes Genesis, and what does he reference? He references Adam and Eve and the two becoming one flesh. My opponent, like all supposed Christian polygynists, brings up examples of polygyny in the Bible as if that makes the case polygyny was somehow endorsed, commanded by God, or is permitted, not sinful. Examples of polygyny in the Old Testament would be Abraham's wife, Sarah, who was barren, asked Abraham out of desperation to have a child through their servant Hagar. It wasn't his idea. She regrets doing so later, and Hagar and his son Ishmael leave. He never had multiple wives. Isaac, Abraham's son through Sarah, marries Rebekah, and they are seen as a true example of the godly couple. You can see that in Genesis 24:67, which goes to show it wasn't a marriage of convenience or securing interfamilial relations. Jacob ended up having two wives, Leah and Rachel, but only through being tricked, right? We can get into that if he wants to. Moses marries Zechariah, daughter of Jethro, in Numbers 12:1. but we have no idea if he's actually married to two women. And then we can look at David, the second line, king of Israel after Saul, as a through line of marrying women. This keeps causing problems for him and his family, right? We can dive in to all of that too. But my basic conclusion here is I have to wrap up very quickly. The basic error made by many Christians stems from one wrong presupposition, which we can call biblical good guy fallacy. One massive difference between the biblical stories and other ancient literature is that the biblical protagonist is very often flawed. Some are near perfect, such as Daniel, Samuel, Elijah, but most are far from. This is an almost pagan understanding of heroes, and that the Bible leads to, and it leads to people to many basic errors, concluding that polygyny is acceptable is one of them. God tolerates much worse things until he doesn't. So anyway, I'll leave it there for right now. I'd like to, if we could, start with the claims on the social aspect and then move to the biblical aspects, as that's what I prepared for this debate.
Yeah, it's open format right now. If anyone wants to pose the first question, you're able to.
Before we go, can y'all hear me? I knocked my road player down by mistake. You're gonna see me refresh. I just didn't want to do it while you was talking, so I'm just gonna refresh real fast. Appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah.
To my audience that can hear me.
For Captain Tazaryach to come back up, get the likes up, man. Get the likes up. Don't be a ninja watcher.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, we should be good.
All right.
Right. Come like all my stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah. So we got Andrew Wilson on a Crucible. He's tagged on the title. Go ahead and follow him. We got Captain Tazaryach. He's tagged. Go ahead and follow him as well, man. Support the gentleman. All right. Cap, can you speak so we can see if we hear you?
1, 2. Can you hear me?
No. You know what? I think you're on the wrong mic. I think you're on like maybe a laptop mic or something like that. That's what I think.
So I had my road player and I was plugging my laptop in, and I think I knocked and it unplugged. And so,
maybe turn it up a little bit real quick.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me go back to it. Hold on. Let me switch it off. Let me switch it on. Testing 1, 2. Let me see. Testing 1, 2. What about now? Does it sound any better now?
It's audible, but it's very low.
Yeah, it's let me turn you up on my end. Hold up.
And I apologize for that. I knocked it off by mistake. I apologize.
Okay.
I've done shit like that.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry about that. Let me try.
I've done shit like that.
I'm gonna step away for 1 second.
You sound better now.
Yeah, you sound good.
I turned you up.
I turned you up on my end. You sound good.
All right, so I do sound fine. Okay. All right, then. The first question I wanted to establish is, what do you consider marriage?
Do you? Well, I can give you my biblical definition if you'd like.
Well, I'm asking because you said that I don't respect the paper, which I never said that, but I'm trying to understand.
Well, I don't. So state marriage to me is essentially meaningless. So when you say things like lesbians and homosexuals can get married, they actually can't get married. What they can have is they can have the state make a claim of officiation and give them a piece of paper. Yeah, right. But that's not marriage. You would agree with me that's not marriage, right?
It's not marriage to me.
Well, it's just not marriage, period.
In the West, that piece of paper says they're married. That's why I said in the West. So in America,
well, to me, it's a word concept fallacy. So it's true that the state uses the word marriage, and also in religion we use the word marriage. In Christianity we use the word marriage, but that doesn't mean they have the same meaning. They don't have the same meaning. So you can have a word that well, hang on. Let me just give the explanation. I promise I'll give you plenty of time to respond.
No problem.
But
if you have explanation, can you just explain what marriage is to you as well?
Yeah, I can actually. I gave a complete definition, or I have a complete definition here, so I want to make sure, in case this came up, to make sure that we got the semantics correct. So, 1 second here, and I'll pull it up. So the main example in Orthodoxy and anything Christ, in the case of marriage, it is his marriage with Israel, both the Old Testament, New Testament. Throughout the Old Testament, God speaks of his bride Israel, although Israel's okay. So I guess I'll give you the Reader's Digest definition. To me, biblical marriage is one man, one woman, right? It's officiated by the Orthodox Church, and it's a sacrament. It's a sacrament. That's
But
what
what I
marriage
mean
to me
is,
would be.
okay, I get that concept. I agree with that concept, whether it's one man or multiple. What I'm asking you is, for you, what consummates? I'll give you my lens. My
Okay.
lens, biblically speaking, if you lay with that woman, that's your wife. Is that
Yeah,
your
but
lens?
no,
Or that's what I'm trying to get to. Like, what
no,
is
that
marriage to
wouldn't.
you?
No. And that doesn't even reflect the Old Testament. So even the way that they married in the Old Testament, it was ceremonial. I can give you many examples of this, but the consummation came at the end. Um,
That's not true.
of the it is true. In the Old Testament, marriages were officiated by the heads of families, clans, tribes, patriarchs of the familial
It's
unit.
not true.
They would be feast involved, and at certain times, the groom and bride would go to the bedchamber, consummate the marriage. Thereby, they would become one. That is true. That is, in
So
fact, true.
when I'm saying that that's not true, you can have a ceremony or you cannot have a ceremony. But if you lay with that woman, that's your wife. In Genesis, the 29th chapter, after Jacob worked 7 years, the ceremony was for Rachel. Leah was sent in the bedchamber. He laid with laid with Leah. They were married. Then he laid with Rachel. No ceremony. Then Leah and Rachel gave him midwives. Gave him their servants, laid with them, no ceremony. When Haggai lay with Abraham, no ceremony.
Didn't say
So
ceremony. It's a sacrament. Under Christianity, it's a
what
sacrament.
sacrament was
When I'm
given?
talking about the
You
Old
just said the
Testament,
Old Testament. You got to be keen
yeah,
on
I'm
what you
talking about.
say.
Yeah, listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking
Right.
about in the Old Testament how they officiated marriage. You're giving us a hyper specific example of something which would still be considered a legitimate marriage, right? But it had nothing to do with the intercourse portion of it. If this was the case, if this was the case, hang on,
was made them husbands. The
no,
intercourse is
it
what made them.
doesn't.
Can I read the verse?
Read it.
No problem. This is Genesis
Give me
20.
the verse quote.
This is Genesis 29, and I'm gonna just go at 29 and 24. Bear with me a second. Oh, I'm so mad I can't find it that fast. I apologize. So in Genesis 30 and 4, it says, in 3, Genesis the 30th chapter, 3rd verse. And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her. So the sex is what made them husband and wife.
That's
There
a
was no,
completely
and
no.
as a matter of fact, no man gave it away, no sacrament given. She said, Here's my handmaid, lay with her, that's your wife.
There's a completely unbiblical view of this, including by all the church fathers who studied this from the very beginning. If you go to Genesis 2:24, the two becoming one flesh is what both Jesus and St. Paul quote when speaking of
There was
marriage.
no ceremony for Adam and Eve.
The two becoming one
Where
flesh.
was the ceremony for Adam and Eve?
Hang on. Can I finish what I'm saying to you? Right? It's absurd for you to make the claim that it's the intercourse that makes them married. Where do you infer from that passage that it's the intercourse itself that creates the marriage compact between the two? So, for instance, if a woman is raped, right, why would they not be married then? By that logic, why would intercourse equal marriage?
Well, grape is something that your people do. It's not something that the Bible says is marriage, because rape is forced sex. That's not lawful.
The Bible is not saying that they're married in that passage because of the sex.
Why is it saying wife? Genesis 30 and 4. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And just a quick comment.
Okay. So she was given for him to wife, but it doesn't say what made her the wife was that they had sex.
What does the went in mean?
It just means he fucked her. It doesn't mean that's what made it official.
You're saying,
show me how that's the officiate.
You said
that doesn't show
this what
anything.
You said.
Yes.
You said in the Old Testament there was
Yes.
sacrament. Where's the sacrament at? Because we can
Yeah,
read
so-
that they had sex. We can
Yeah,
read that she was a wife.
Mhm.
Where does it say sacrament?
Yeah, so what I was giving you was an overview of how Jewish marriages were done in the Old Testament. You're giving
And
a
I'm giving you
particular.
in the Old
Yeah,
Testament.
you're giving me a particular, but what I'm saying is that in regards to this particular, it could be possible that there's marriage in the particular, but that doesn't mean that the sexual intercourse is what made them married. Show me how the sex
Then you
itself
would have
makes
to
you
show
married.
me the sex is the marriage.
No,
There's
you just
no-
that's a claim that
there's
you're not
no
backing that
cer-
up with anything.
I'm backing it up, right? It ain't
All
just
you're
this
saying is
one.
that he fucked her. You're not saying that's what made them married.
Did the Bible say handmaid to wife? Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. Let's pull it up again. What is it? Genesis what?
Genesis chapter 30, verse
Mhm.
4. I gotta turn one of my lights off. They said I'm looking real light skinned.
You're a little pale. Yes.
Also, while you're looking that up, hey,
She
chat-
gave him her
go
servant
ahead.
Bilhah as a wife, and Jacob slept with her.
I don't know what version that you're reading.
Yeah, that was just the NIV. You want King James?
Well, can you read that again? I want to see it. Here, I would say it.
Yeah, she gave him her servant Bilhah's wife. Jacob slept with her. I can pull up the King James version if you'd prefer that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
If you
that's
don't
no
mind.
problem. Hang on. We'll do King James here.
And then I have another one when when Isaac married Rebekah.
Yeah.
Now that's a little different because I would say that was the norm. Like in the
And wasn't
I'm sorry.
and
No,
that
go
was by Genesis 24:67. It was looked at by God as being a true form of marriage, right?
I wouldn't. No, it's not a true form. That's why.
A true form of a godly couple is what it says.
No, actually, when you read it, the way that the Bible is, if you have the intercourse, that's your wife. Whether you have a ceremony of marriage or you don't have a ceremony of marriage, that's my point. That's why That's why you see the term wife there. It doesn't say
So-
she's not a wife.
Okay, listen.
So-
Here's the problem with this inference. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and
Mhm.
Jacob went unto her. Okay,
Mhm.
so gave her to wife. He slept with her. This does not infer that because he slept with her, that's what made her his wife.
That's
How do you know there wasn't a ceremony
show me-
involved? You don't know that? Like you don't know that? What do you mean?
When you say that, this is what people do when they can't handle the pressure. When there's
What
a
pressure?
ceremony for Rachel, we can read it. Jacob worked
Yeah.
7 years. After the 7 years, they had a ceremony. When he went in there, even if we were to go back to Genesis 29, when them 7 years was up, Laban gave Jacob Leah instead of Rachel. And then Jacob is like, why did you do that? And he said, because Leah was the older one. But there was no ceremony for Rachel.
I'm going to show you how weak this
one.
argument
So
is.
he had a ceremony for
Yeah.
one, but had
Okay.
sex and married both of them.
Can you explain this to me, dude? If it was actually the case that if you slept with a woman, that became your wife,
Mhm.
why can't you show me examples of the apostles telling us this, especially Paul, that if you just slept with a woman, she immediately becomes your wife? Why can't you show us any of the teachings of Christ showing that? Why is it that you're showing a nebulous passage which just states that he slept with this woman who was given to him as his wife? You're just saying that in the absence of them writing down or documenting any type of ceremony associated with that therefore it means the sex is what made them husband and wife. That's absurd, dude. That's absurd.
When you say nebulous, what Christians, and I don't know if do you classify as a Christian?
I'm an Orthodox Christian.
Got you. What Christians like to do is negate the Old Testament. When Christ didn't negate the Old Testament.
I'm not negating anything.
You are. You're
I'm
saying
not.
I can't use the Old Testament as the standard.
You can.
But when Christ was telling them not to divorce, what did he use as the standard?
Yeah, I didn't say you couldn't use the Old Testament.
I'm asking you, what did he? Okay, then. So
he referenced what was the law at the time. But here's the thing, though.
Law.
They explained, like Paul, especially in great detail, explained how marriage works, and it had nothing at all to do
Paul say in detail
with sex.
What did Paul say?
You want Paul's breakdown on marriage?
No, you said he went in great detail.
He did actually go in pretty good detail for how marriage works. Yeah.
How you get married or how you stay married?
Well, he explained basically all of it, actually.
Mhm.
So, here, I can pull it up. Give me a second here. We can go through what Paul
I think you
detailed.
want 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter.
Okay, let's
I
pull up
think that's
1
the chapter
Corinthians 7.
that you might be referring to, because in verse 36 it says, "If any man think he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin, and she pass the flower of her age, and need so require, let him do what he will, he sinneth not, let them marry." So it's telling him he can do what he wants with his woman. So if he wants a
Okay, so that's
ceremony, he can.
1
1
Corinthians
Corinthians
7.
7, verse 36.
Okay, let's go to 36. Let's make sure that we get this in context. Okay. Something that you guys don't really do too. If anyone is
I'm
worried
doing
that
it
he
real
might not
well
be
right
acting
now.
honorably towards the virgin he is engaged to, and if his passions are too strong and he feels he ought to marry, he should do as he wants. He is not sinning. Okay, so what do you think that means? What do you think that means?
No, you're supposed to tell us what that means, not me. You said
Wait.
Paul went in great detail.
No,
about
you
marriage.
pulled up you told me to pull up this verse.
No. I said, are you referring? I was trying to help you out.
Oh,
But
well, I mean,
you brought up
there
Paul.
was
I didn't
no
bring
need.
up Paul.
There was, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of tricky to do, to say, hey, pull up this verse because you want to discuss it, and then I'm supposed to justify the verse you wanted me to pull up.
If we're having a discussion about the Bible and you say, are you talking about this? You talking to me. I may look at it to see if that's
Yeah. He's saying that if you're with a virgin, right, and you're overcome with lust, you should go ahead and marry her. That's what he's saying. Before you take her
But it doesn't
virginity.
say
That's
you
what he's
have
saying.
a ceremony, which is my only. And I'm not against ceremonies. Just
What?
record. But ceremonies, if you don't have a ceremony.
Listen, in Christianity, it's a sacrament. A sacrament. You agree with that, right?
In Christianity, talk about Christianity, they fornicate. They do not have a sacrament of marriage.
Yes, they do have a sacrament of marriage.
Show
What are
me.
you talking about?
Show me.
You want you want the ecclesiastical sacraments of marriage from the
Yes.
Orthodox Church? Yeah,
No,
I can
what
give
I
them to
want
you.
to see how the church is doing that.
Well, what they do
Because
is
when I look up the top three
they have
churches,
what's called a crown. What?
If the three of the U.S.'s biggest religious denominations in turmoil over
Protestants?
sex abuse and LBGT policy, the three churches that they have is the
Who?
Catholic
Which
Church.
churches?
I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you, the three major ones: the U.S. Catholic Church, the Southern Baptist Church, the United Methodist Church, the largest mainline Protestant denomination.
Yeah.
So those three churches are in sex abuse and LGBT. So the church has no authority on this subject.
Let's try to untangle that nonsense first. When it comes to sexual abuse, public schools have 100 times more sex abuse. The secular institution of public schools, 100 times more sexual abuse.
They're not the subject of conversation today.
Hang on, than the Catholic Church does.
They're not
Here's
the subject
why.
of conversation.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
Here's why. Predators go where the children are. If predators can sneak in through the Catholic Church to get access to children, they will. If they can sneak in a Protestant church to get access to children, they will. They're very hard to spot. They blend right in, just like they do in public schools. You just saying that because there's abuse inside of these institutions, I don't even know what that point is. What is the point?
When they find out that they're predators? What is the punishment? Nothing.
For which church? No, there is a punishment.
No, it's not. Like when I look at this
they're
article on
excommunicated.
NBC,
Listen, they're excommunicated, turned over to law enforcement.
They're transferred.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. They are transferred to another church.
Inside of Roman Catholicism, there was cases of that. There's no doubt that that's true.
When I look at this article right here,
but here's the
NBC,
thing. Again, if you make the comparison to secular institutions, it's the exact same thing. If the predator is found out at the administrative level, they will also try to hide it, and have done thousands and thousands of examples I can give you of them also hiding it.
But
the point is that any institution,
what the problem is,
hang on, bro. Let me finish. Any institution at an administrative level will try to hide that shit. That's what they do. That's what administrations that are high level do.
Hide it. Black church, white church, Hispanic church, Chinese church. When it comes to molestation, you can do that to kids. When it comes to fornication,
it's not permitted. No,
it is permitted. If it wasn't permitted, there wouldn't be a plethora of it going on in the church.
What are you talking? Okay, murder is murder permitted?
You don't see murder happening in the church.
Okay, is murder permitted though? No,
You don't
murder's
see it
not
happening.
permitted, but murder's always happening all over the
Where
place.
are
So
the murderers
therefore,
in church?
like, what are you talking
Where
about?
are
That's
the
a stupid
murderers
argument.
in church? Where are
Yeah,
the murderers at in
murders
church?
happen in church too.
No,
What do you mean?
no. The murderer doesn't still get to preach in church.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Show
they
me the
do. There's
murderer that's
females
still
in
preaching.
Protestant churches who murdered their children who preach in those churches. Yes,
Well, now,
they do.
depending on the type of Protestant you're talking about. If you talk about doing slavery when they was murdering us, then yes. But if you talk about in 2025,
Okay, so that
then
even
no.
that would refute your own point.
No, it does not.
That's a non
It
sequitur,
enhances
dude.
my point that the Christian church cannot save the West because they don't obey God. They murder, they enslave, they rape. That's the Christian church.
Okay, so secularists are going to save the West.
Who's a secularist?
Who's going to save the West?
Who's a secularist?
Anyone who's not a Christian. Or believes in any type of, or believes in any type of religiosity. Hang on.
Okay, go ahead.
Or believes in any type of religiosity. That would be secularist.
Okay, no problem. So me as an Israelite, I believe in God. The Christians say that they believe in God. The difference between the Christian and myself is if God says you can do it, I do it. If God says you cannot do it, I don't do it. I don't make excuses to have sex before I have a sacrament of marriage. Because even if I go by your logic, let me ask you a question. Before you have the sacrament of marriage, is it okay to have sex before then?
No.
But do people have sex before then?
Yeah, sure.
That are Christians.
People sin all the time, yeah.
That are Christians.
And they sin all the time after the sacrament too. It happens, yeah.
Right. So when you say monogamy can save the West, are you talking about morally?
Well, I'm saying that monogamy is better for the West than polygyny.
But I'm asking
and I gave you all of the examples for why. Yeah, it still would be. Yeah, morally, it's the only thing that's permitted within Christianity, period. But even if, let's just grant for a second, hang on. Let's just grant for a second that even it wasn't, and that polygyny was granted. It's not mandated, like you say, right?
But it's
just
not mandated.
like you can do it. So you said polygyny is not mandated, but you can do it, right?
Neither one. So just so you can understand, I wouldn't put myself as a. Like, I have multiple women personally, but as far as our culture, it's not a mandate where you have to do it.
Right. That's my point.
Right. So it's not a mandate that you don't.
So hang on. So if there's no mandate for you, okay, or for anybody else to practice inside of the prism of polygyny, how's that going to help the West anyway? Like, how is it that this really teeny tiny infinitesimal amount of men who could even practice it, why would we waste any time, energy, or resources pushing that or saying that it was okay in any way, shape, or form? All you're doing is really making this claim. I can declare myself married unilaterally, okay, because I had sex with a woman. Now she's my wife. Let me ask you this. Are any of these wives that you have, any of them, have you ever had sex with a woman and then she's not your wife? Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Okay, so you never had. So yeah, so are you are currently in relations with every woman you've had sex with?
That's what I want to answer. So I wasn't always an Israelite, so I didn't always have this thought process. So I've had this thought process since 32 or 33. So since that time, yes, if that woman is with, unless she decides to leave, that woman that I lay with is my wife forever.
So you can unilaterally declare that you're married, and she can unilaterally declare she's divorced?
You said you don't look at the paper marriage, right?
I'm not talking about a paper marriage.
No,
I'm talking about you declaring that you're married.
This is going to help you. You also said you don't agree with the paper marriage, right?
I don't believe that the state officiates marriage.
Right.
I don't think that I don't give them any credibility with the officiation of marriage.
So then we are both unilaterally declaring what we say marriage is.
I'm appealing to the sacramental ecclesiology of my church and the sacrament of marriage.
I'm going by my church.
I understand that. So this and listen, I'm granting that you're going by whatever you say your church is. So this gets to my point.
Different than me,
bro. I'm granting it. So if this is the case, and you can unilaterally declare that you're married, can you unilaterally declare you're divorced?
Well, we don't get divorced.
Okay, so is all of the women you slept with before? Okay, so hang on. woman you slept with before you became a black Hebrew Israelite,
Mm-hmm.
right? All of those women right now are your wives?
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay, so just to make sure that we got this clear, if those women leave, you're still married to them?
No. So in 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter,
Uh-huh.
it says, if the unbelieving depart, let them depart. That's what it says. Because God has called you to peace. So if that woman was to leave me, then I'm not bound to her anymore because she left.
What about you? Can you leave them?
We're not supposed to. I've never left a woman.
Yeah, but could you?
No.
No, you're not permitted to leave a woman. What if she cheats with a guy?
That's adultery.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean that what if she comes to you and says, I made a mistake?
That's what Christ said.
I went and slept.
No,
yeah, so then you could get a divorce.
There is no mistaken dick.
So you could get a divorce. So then you could get a divorce.
Wait, slow down. I never said you can't get a divorce. I said I haven't divorced.
Okay, so what are the grounds in which you can divorce?
Adultery.
That's it?
Yes. That's what.
What if she kills one of your kids?
Said? Isn't that what Christ said?
What if she kills one of your kids?
Well, this is what was called like red herring, where what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the most extreme example.
Just answer the fucking question. What if she kills one of your kids?
I haven't gone through that.
I know you haven't, but if you did, if she killed one of your kids, could you divorce her then?
I haven't gone through that to answer.
Could you divorce her then? Could you leave her then?
I haven't gone through that.
I know you haven't. I'm asking if it were to happen to somebody who was a black Hebrew Israelite, they killed one of your kids.
Not say that term
could you leave them then or not?
If you could just say Hebrew Israelite. Don't say
okay,
black
fine. Hebrew Israelite,
no
whatever. Okay, it's a common nomenclature. I didn't mean anything by it.
I know you did.
But please answer the question. Don't evade. If one of your wives killed one of your other wives' kids, could you leave them or not?
I would leave her.
Could you? Is that permitted? Is it sinful?
Yes.
Okay, so then I guess it's not just fornication then.
That is fornication because that's murder. She's murdered. She's murdered.
That's not fornication, bro. Do you know what fornication means?
Fornication
it doesn't mean
is
murder.
Unlawful sex. But fornication,
that's not murder.
There's also I'm about to tell you. There's also spiritual fornication. When even if you as a Christian, if you was to be a Muslim, does God look at that as fornication?
What? Yeah, because so the intent's tied to the intent's tied to the act. That's why it's fornication. So, the intent of killing your other kid. Okay, how would the intent of killing one of your other kids?
Because the Bible says, "Thou shalt not murder."
Okay, great. Let me ask the question before you answer the question. How could it possibly be that? Okay, yeah, I have a nasty thought about a woman. That's tied to the intent of wanting to fornicate, therefore sinful. That makes sense. How could it possibly be that if one of your wives, that if I have a lustful thought towards a woman, right, that's tied to the act of intercourse, of fornication, that's why it's sinful. It's tied to the act.
That's not a sin.
Murdering. If one of your wives murders another one of your wife's kids, that is not tied to fornication at all. So how can you leave her?
God or is it for God?
What?
Is it against God or for God?
Yeah, but you said the specific criteria was that they had to fornicate for you to leave.
Yes, that's a normal. And then you brought up this extreme.
Yeah, and I want the answer.
My daughter.
That's why ecclesiology is so important, dude. I want your ecclesiology.
So are you married to everybody you have sex with?
No, of course not.
So you don't even follow the ecclesiastic authority. You saying it's
best. My ecclesiology says that that's not what marriage is.
I say it's best.
My ecclesiology does not say that you having sex with a woman means that you're married to her. That's your ecclesiology.
You can fornicate, which is against God.
No, I can't fornicate. I'm not allowed to cheat on my wife. Not allowed to do any of those things.
But can you have sex with a woman before you have this ecclesiastical marriage?
You're conflating two
concepts. Can you just answer the question?
Yeah, it's sinful to do. Can you physically do it? Yes.
Right, and they're doing it.
Yeah, Christians but so what? You're conflating. You're conflating can do thing with it's permitted to do thing. Like a person's able to do a thing, that doesn't mean they're permitted to do it.
America in the West has said that they've had Christian values since it's been established. And if you say monogamy is the way, y'all are failures at it because you promote whoredom.
First of all,
you can be OnlyFans. You can be homosexual. You can be lesbian. You can do every sinful sexual
This
act
is
in America.
I'll get to all of those points, but I'm not going to let you pivot away from the direct point that I just asked you, which is you have an ecclesiastical authority of you. Hang
No,
on.
I do not.
You said you did.
No, I
you
do not.
said I go by my own standard.
I did not say that. I
So,
said
okay,
when you said I go by my ecclesiastical church, what I actually said was I go by my church, and then I said school standard.
Okay, so under your church law, if one of your wives kills another one of your wife's kids,
I answered that question.
Are you permitted to divorce her?
I answered that. I answered that already.
No, you didn't answer it. Are you permitted to divorce her?
I said
yes or no. Are you permitted to divorce her?
Why are you asking me the same question? I said
yes. Because I want a direct yes or no answer.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then it's not just fornication. You lied to me earlier when you said that's the only way. Yeah, it is. Okay,
because
so how about this?
Extreme circumstance. That don't even happen.
Extreme circumstances.
It is. Show me in the Bible where a woman unalived the husband's wife's child. Show me.
Okay, first of all,
when you have to do things like that.
Show me in the Bible when a massive corporation stole everybody's retirement savings. Can we make ecclesiastical prescriptions based around theft when we know that that's theft, even though it never happened in the Bible, bro?
I can show you when the white man stole land that wasn't theirs. That's theft. That's thievery. Wait
a second. And that has what to do with me? Am I living on stolen land?
Hypothetical banking question, so I gave a real life question.
Yeah, how does that? In what way does that contend with what I'm saying? I'm saying that we can, even if the Bible doesn't mention a particular, utilize biblical Christian ethics to create solutions for the particular. Hang on. For the particulars in which are being stated, like Enron. There's no case like Enron in the Bible. No case like it, but we still know under Christian ethics that falls under theft, just like we know murder. So what you're actually saying is that if one of your wives murders somebody, you can divorce them. That's what you're saying, sir.
I want everybody to pay attention to what Andrew is doing. Andrew is clearly losing his argument, so he goes to an analogy of one of my wives unaliving a child that's not hers, but it's mine. And what should I do in that scenario? Which I've said she would not be my wife. But America has...
No, you said that you would divorce her.
That's what not be my wife means.
Well, I don't know. You use vague cloaked language.
Well, how many times can I answer the same question?
Well, usually people say the word divorce. You say not my wife. I don't know. It's vague.
Childlike tactics. Because not necessary.
No, it's not childlike. It's just me holding you to the fire of your own view.
The same answer. I'm giving the same answer.
It's vague. Listen, I'm just not going to let you get away with vagaries.
This is the same answer. It's not a different answer. It's not different at all.
Listen, it's vague and it's obfuscate. It's obfuscation. So I'm just asking this. Are there any other conditionals besides those two in which you can leave your wife?
Well, the condition that you just did is made up. Because that's not in the Bible.
Yeah, that's what a hypothetical is. They're all made up in order to test the logical consistency of your position. When y'all were
monogamous, could you rape your woman and not go to jail in America?
No, you wouldn't go to jail under the categorization of rape because it was under the categorization of battery. And yes, you would. And it was almost the same sentence.
Hey, fellas, let's try to use grape.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try to use grape. All right.
Yeah, under coverture laws.
Marital grape was not even illegal until 93.
You are lying through your teeth. Let me explain what actually happened. Look up coverture laws. Under coverture laws, which is what you're referencing right now, right? They didn't use the term. They didn't use the term marital rape. That's true. You went to jail for battery and assault, which had the same penalty, though.
Prior to the 1970s, marital rape was legal in every U.S. state and only first became partially outlawed in Michigan and Delaware.
Now define what.
Yeah. Now define what marital rape is in South Dakota and Nebraska. I don't have to define what grape. I don't have to define what grape is.
Do you realize
why women wanted to separate?
Oh my God, you're a feminist, dude. This is a feminist talking point. Let me explain. Yes, let me explain.
Monogamy makes you feminist.
That's a feminist. What you have is a feminist talking point. I'll explain to you. Yes, it is, bro. Let me respond. If it is, when you're talking about coverture laws, and that's what you're talking about, it is true that because marital rape is the hardest thing in the world to prove, and it still is, by the way, to this day, one of the most difficult things in the world to prove, they didn't, under coverture laws, add marital rape. They did, for instance, though, say that the husband was responsible for all the woman's debt, various things like this, but they would send you to jail for assault, battery. I have many such cases I can show you of this, where the wife was assaulted by the husband sexually, okay, and they went to jail for battery. They just didn't classify it that way. You're using a feminist talking point, sir.
A polygamist can't be a feminist. A monogamist can, though. A monogamist that fights for one man, one woman is what women love. I'm not
Women
loved
love
by
polygamy.
Women.
Feminists advocated for polygamy.
No.
All the original
Women
feminists
and men
advocated for
love
it.
whoredom. There's a difference. Women love to be whores. Men love to be whores. That's why
Okay.
That's why Christianity fakes that they believe in monogamy. They do not. That's why when you
Yeah, well, when are you going to demonstrate that?
Every married man goes to the strip club, got a side chick,
No, they don't.
OnlyFans, XYZ.
You're lying.
Yes, they do.
You're lying through your teeth. No, they
I
don't.
guarantee you.
First of all, not every man does go through the, especially, in fact, I would say that, especially in the classical churches, right, the more traditional churches, no, the men don't go to the strip clubs. No, they're not out gallivanting. No, they're not out whoring themselves out. They're not sleeping with lots of women. You make this prescription as though every community is like your own, sir, and it's not.
No,
not every man who operates within Christendom is a man whore. That's ridiculous.
Unlawful sex in my community. In ISUPK, we don't fornicate. We don't have OnlyFans. We don't watch porn. We don't do none of that. Because
if you're sleeping with multiple women, you're fornicating.
That's not fornication.
You're cheating.
Show me
you're cheating on your wife.
Show me in the Bible where having more than one woman is fornication.
Yeah. So can you cheat? Are you allowed to cheat on your wife?
Explain that.
Yeah. So are you allowed to sleep with a woman who's not your wife?
But you got to, when you ask the question, this ain't a gotcha moment. But when you say that to me, if me as let's say if I got one woman right now currently,
yeah,
and then I see another woman and I have an interest in her, you have to show me in the Bible where I can't marry her.
Okay. Are you allowed to, according to the Bible, you allowed to leave your wife if she fornicates?
If your wife commits fornication, yes.
And what does that mean?
But you're not answering my question.
Yeah, I'm answering it. I just want to make sure that we're clear on terms, just like you wanted to be clear. What does fornication mean?
Fornication is unlawful sex. So if I'm married to my wife and she goes and sleeps with a woman, a man, an animal, that's fornication on the subject of sex.
Okay. So if you, though, I just want to make sure we're clear on this. If you go and have sex with another woman, that's permitted because that woman just becomes your wife, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So you, in your view, can never cheat on your wife.
The only cheating that a man can.
How's it possible?
Wait, just again, you asking me another question.
Yeah, how's it possible for you to even cheat on your wife?
You haven't answered my question.
I don't. Well, the thing is that I'm explaining to you that what you're holding is, to your own view, is inconsistent.
No.
Is it possible? In other words, I guess I'm just going to ask, and then hopefully I'll get the answer.
Remember when you wanted me to answer yes or no? And you kept asking me the same question.
Okay, bro.
You gotta answer my question.
Is it possible for a man to cheat on his wife?
I'm not
and how does that occur?
Yet. I need you to show me.
No, I need you to answer my question, dude.
No, I asked my question first. And what you said was you wanted to give a setup to make sure you understood me. So I said, fine. Now we're at the point where you can answer my question.
Because I just want to make sure that you understand.
Show me in the Bible where I'm sinning for having more than one woman.
You're not being logically consistent. So first we have to start with consistency.
The Bible
just to be fair, I've been following Andrew. I think if you even give him the courtesy to answer his question, I think it would still play out in both of you guys' favor. So I think that'll be equal either way. So he did ask the question first, just answer his question, and then you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. So what two men have brought, or what God's brought together, let nobody separate, right? If you're having sex with a woman, a different woman other than the person that God has brought you together with, you would be fornicating. That's what that would mean.
What I asked you to do was show me.
You want the exact passage? Are you fucking serious? Okay, fine.
Here's the question. I asked you to show me in the Bible where me having more than one woman is a sin. Because that's what
Bro,
you're
I
saying.
just told you. Do you want the exact passage?
Genesis 2:24 does not
my
say
God.
I'm in sin if I have more than one woman.
Let's just grant it, just for the sake of argument for a second. Is it the case that you can ever cheat on your wife or not?
What are you granting first?
I'm just going to grant the position that
That I'm right,
I don't know, that you can never cheat on your wife, I guess.
No.
I don't know.
Are you granting the position that I'm not in sin for having more than one wife? Are you granting that?
No. But what
And
I
you
am
have to
doing
show
is
that
this.
first
I
before
just
you ask me
want you to
about
answer the
cheating.
fucking question, dude.
I know. I
Will you
want
answer
you
it?
to answer the fucking question.
Okay, and I just told you.
No,
Do you
you
want
did
the
not.
exact passage?
You told me.
Is
You
what you're
quoted
after the
Genesis.
exact passage?
You quoted
Oh my
Genesis
God,
2
this fucking
and
guy.
24.
Hey,
I
Cap,
asked.
Cap, do you want the exact passage? Because he has been in good faith. He's trying to answer the
Cooley.
question. So what do you want? What do you
Okay,
want
I'm
for him to
speaking to
answer
the
the question?
moderator. Cooley. I do want the exact passage that
Hang on.
matches. Wait, that matches my question. He said,
All right.
I'm in sin for having more than one woman. I'm asking him to show me a passage that says, if I have more than one woman, I'm in sin. That's what I'm asking him. And I want
All
the
right.
scripture.
Okay, so you just want, and I'll give you the exact scripture. Hang on. Let me pull it up here. 1 second. Sorry, it's difficult because I'm on two screens right now, and I usually have. So give me 1 second, and I'll pull
All
this
good.
up.
Andrew, and while you're pulling that up, everybody get the likes up. Andrew Wilson is currently live on his stream, like his podcast. Cap is currently live on his stream, like his podcast. And you know we here live on No Fugazi, like the podcast. Hey, real quick question for you two. Are you guys good to take a few questions at the end of for the chat?
Yes.
You good, Cap? What about you, Andrew?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to do it. Just
Okay,
give me
cool.
a second here.
Gotcha. So the only questions that we will be taking is super chats. So you got to go ahead and support the channel, send in some super chats, and we'll answer all questions. And, we'll also put the link if you want to come up on stream and ask these gentlemen some questions. We'll go ahead and do that and have a few people come on up as well. But you got to send in some super chats in order to come up. And actually, I would say in order to come up on stream, we're doing nothing under $10 for super chats.
So can you pull up real quick 1 Timothy verse 3 and 2?
Yeah, I got it in front of me, man. I got it in front of me.
Can you read it?
Yes. For what, can I start at verse 1?
Sure. I don't start at 3 and 2. You asked me for the exact passage.
No, the reason why I say 1, well, no problem. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach.
Okay, and then what about 12?
Verse 12. Okay, no problem. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children and their own houses well.
And are you a deacon in your church, sir?
No.
What's a deacon?
You'd have to tell me. Deacon is what you lie about, and it's your church.
Yeah, tell me what a deacon is.
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
You don't know what a deacon is?
I'm not in a church.
You just said that you're in a church.
No. When
literally 30 minutes ago, you said you were in a church.
When anybody go back and watch the replay, I did say the word church, and I corrected myself and said
now
school.
You corrected yourself. Okay.
All you gotta do is go back and listen to it.
So what is a deacon?
I don't know. You tell me. You
don't know what a deacon is. What do you think? What is he saying a deacon is then?
It says a deacon must be blank.
Yeah, what is a deacon according to him? What is he saying a deacon is?
I don't know. You
don't know what you don't know what he's saying a deacon is?
You brought me to this verse.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what the verse
so what
means?
is a deacon?
You breaking it down. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you believe that there were deacons?
It had to be because
what were they? What were they?
You tell me.
You don't know? Okay. All right.
Tell
you
me
don't
what
know.
the deacon is.
Okay, you don't know.
So break it down. How am I in sin?
Why do I need to break it down? You don't know what it is. So how do you know if you're in violation of it if you don't even know what it is?
Because this is not saying if you have more than one wife, you're in sin.
Well, wait a second. How many wives are they allowed to have?
This says let the deacons. Well, first let's start with the bishop, right? So it says the bishop, in order to be blameless, has to have one wife. Right?
Let's start with a deacon.
Well, the first verse 2 said bishop.
Yeah, let's start with the deacon, though.
Well, why can't I start with the bishop?
Well, I mean, fine, start with the bishop, but then
I
move to the
appreciate it.
deacon. It'll say the same thing.
Was Christ a bishop?
Yeah. What does that have to do with anything? Don't ask me a question. Answer the question.
You're the last person to say that after all the questions you
Bro,
asked me.
I literally just answered yours. You asked me for the passage. I gave you the passage. We're on the passage. Now answer my questions.
So now,
bro, how is this circles? It's not circles. I'm literally asking you a question. Bro, answer it.
Circles, like I said. So now I'll answer the question.
Yeah. What's a deacon?
I'm going to answer. You said I could start with bishop. So when it says bishop in that verse, it's talking about anyone that has the office of a bishop. The wife is not even a literal wife. Otherwise, Christ didn't have a wife. Paul didn't have a wife. And Christ was a bishop.
The apostles were the bishops under Christ. Okay. Under Christ. The thing is like,
my answer.
What do you think a deacon? Okay, so what is a deacon?
Peter 2:25, it says, "For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop." So where was Christ's wife at?
Bro, that's not what that means. What
does it mean?
Bro, first of all, you still haven't answered my question. You just keep shotgunning points. You do this with everybody. First, start with what a deacon is. What is it?
I told you I didn't know. You're supposed to tell us.
Yeah, okay. So then how do you know you're not one?
Because I know I'm a captain. I'm a priest and a captain. That's
a priest.
Who I am. Yes, I am.
Okay,
so
and
where am I in sin at?
So I just want to make sure I got this right. Is a deacon lower or greater than a priest?
You tell me. You brought us to this verse.
Listen. If you don't know what don't know what it is, then how do you know you're not it?
You don't know what it is.
A deacon?
Yeah.
I can tell you what it is in the Orthodox tradition, which would be the church tradition.
So teach.
My question.
Show me I'm a sinner.
I think it is has no bearing on what you think it is.
It does.
Well, how?
Because you're supposed to be showing me how I'm a sinner.
Bro, if you don't know what the thing is, you can't say you're not that thing.
Listen, you might be able to teach me something right now.
Oh my God, dude. Listen.
Teach it.
How do you know you're not that thing if you don't know what that thing is? How do you know that?
Listen, Hebrews 5:12 says, before you must be teacher, you must first be taught. So teach.
Okay, great. I'll teach.
Show me.
And like all the great Socratic teachers of old, I will teach you by asking you a question. What is a deacon?
I don't know.
How do you know you're not one?
I'll Google it.
Google it. Whatever you need to do.
I gotta help you. I gotta help you be a good teacher.
You gotta help me. You gotta help me. Yes.
Definitely. I've been helping you all day.
Well, keep on helping me by telling me what a deacon is.
Let's see. Deacon. It says an ordained minister. An ordained minister appoint or ordain as a deacon. It says a deacon is a member of a diaconate, an office in Christian
diocese.
That is
it's a diocese.
No, it's spelled Diaconate. I know how to read.
Oh, that's a diaconate.
Okay, it ain't diocese.
which would be a diocese, but okay.
But the word doesn't say that. I know you want to be superior, smart white guy, but
I'm not trying to be superior to you. I don't know why you had to bring race into it.
To me, but that wasn't the word that you thought it was. So now,
yes, it is the same word. It really is.
It could be, but that's not what I was reading.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. But
that's like how you're trying to make deacon apply to me, even though that's not my.
I just want to know how you're not a deacon by those metrics.
Because that's not my title.
Yeah.
My
okay.
Title is not deacon.
What is a deacon? Read it again.
I just read it.
Read it again and tell me how you're not that thing.
An ordained minister.
Are you an ordained minister?
Nope. I am a priest though, but I don't call myself.
Okay. Are you an ordained priest?
No.
Nope.
Ordained priest. Yes.
No.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're an ordained minister then.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So are you how many wives are you supposed to have, sir?
So show me how I'm in sin.
Because I just read you read the passage that you are only to have one wife. You, by your own metric, are a deacon. Okay, you're in fact you're higher than a deacon. You're a priest. You are a priest. You're just below a bishop and just above a deacon, bro.
So now, if I read Exodus the 20th chapter, this is going to answer your question. When I read Exodus the 20th chapter, it says, "Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Of course, we know if we break any of these things, we sin, correct?
Say it again. Let me just make sure I got it right.
Got you. If I read, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. We know if we break any of these, we sin, right?
Well, thou shalt not murder is the only caveat I would give, but yes.
That's fine. Okay. So we know that because we can read this in the law. So now, if I go to Exodus 21:10, when it says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. We can read that in the law. If I was to read Deuteronomy 21:15, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if he be the firstborn son be hers that was hated, he still got to give. So now we can read in the law provisions for a man having more than one wife. So if we can read that, you can't tell me I'm in sin, because when we read Timothy, it says let. It doesn't say thou shalt not. And that wife that it's talking about is the same wife that Christ was talking about when he said he got us married to the Most High. Are we married to the Most High?
You see the word let there?
Are we married to the Most High?
Well, if you're a priest, yes.
So you saying if you're just a regular person going to church, you're not married to the Most High?
Well, I don't know what that means. What would that mean, married to the Most High? Your marriage would be a reflection of Christ's state with the church. So
that's what I'm talking about.
You, the man, are going to be, yes, you, the man, are going to be acting as in the Christ head in your marriage. Yes,
well,
that would be correct.
That's man or woman. Like in Matthew's 25
no, it's not
and 1.
Man or woman.
Yes, it is. But
no,
I mean by listen, it's a metaphor. So like in Matthew's 25 and 1, when it says, then shall the kingdom of heaven, this is Christ speaking, then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. So now Christ is
I'm familiar with the parable.
Right. It's a parable, but it's a parable of one man marrying 10 women.
Yeah, that's not saying that's permitted. That's not what that's saying.
We would agree that those women represent Israel. And your worldview, you would say it represents Christians, right?
Well, I mean, we believe that Christianity is a continuation. We are Israel. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. In your worldview, the reason why I'm separated, because we have two different lenses. But
I understand. Both agree, it's fine for you to untangle it.
But we both would agree that this is a metaphor of us marrying spiritually to Christ, right?
Okay. Yes. So
that same way that we're married to Christ metaphorically like that is the same wife in 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. If it's not.
No, it isn't.
If it's not.
Then why is it that the church, all of the original church fathers followed that practice? Because these were bishops. You're talking about bishops. These were letters between bishops. That's what the Gospels, that's what the Gospels are. And all of them were only permitted to have one, hang on, all of them were only permitted to have one wife. That was the letter of the law in Christianity. Then they were only allowed to. That's it. And so the thing is why is it that these people who were not removed from Christ, right? They were very close. They were very close. Paul lived in the time of the apostles.
Paul didn't have a wife.
Paul met apostles. You agree with that, right?
I do. No.
Okay, great. So don't you think that they would have corrected him? Don't you think they would have corrected him if he was wrong?
And did what?
If what he was saying about marriage and what was going on especially when talking about Timothy,
the wife that he's talking about.
No,
so for example, if you
the wife he's talking about is the physical material woman.
So this is why I got to teach you. So in Revelation 14:4, when it says, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins, that's talking about the 144,000 that was only married to one wife, not a physical woman, but a spiritual woman. The truth is the wife that it's talking about.
You're tying together details that are irrelevant and don't even match up with church history.
First time in your life. And the reason why the Roman Catholic, if I could, the reason why the Roman Catholic Church or the early church fathers had no problem with monogamy because they was under Roman rulership that was mandating monogamy. Because
No,
you
they went
can't
outside of
go
Rome too. They went outside of Rome.
in
What
First
are you
Corinthians, the
talking
fifth
about?
chapter. In First Corinthians, the 5th chapter, when it says, "It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife." They had more than one wife in Corinth.
Yes, that's true. And he was saying you're not allowed to do that.
He didn't say you're not allowed to do that. He
Bro,
said
how could they be fornicating? How could they be fornicating if they were actually married to him?
Wait,
dude,
because the son.
Listen.
Wait,
My turn.
no,
My turn. I've answered
Wait,
50 of your fucking questions. My turn.
But you just
let me ask you.
I'll
Let me
give
ask you.
floor.
Let me
just
ask.
answer
No,
this
it's my
question.
turn. It's my turn, bro. It's my
And
turn.
You just made it. You just relax.
It's my
for a second.
turn.
Just
Why?
Cap.
How could they be fornicating? How could these men be fornicating if every woman they sleep with is their wife, sir? How?
So I'm gonna answer, and this is why you
Yeah,
shouldn't have
please
said
do.
what you. This is why you shouldn't have said what you said.
Oh, I
In
can't wait
this
to hear it.
verse, the fornication wasn't the father having more than one wife. The fornication was the father's son sleeping with his wife. So he had more than one wife in Corinth, and the son slept with his father's wife. He didn't sleep with his mother. So even in the New Testament, they had more than one wife.
Why is Paul telling them? Can you explain this? Why is Paul telling them to get married? Why?
No.
If they're already married when they sleep with somebody, why is he telling them to get married?
Who is he telling to get married?
Paul in Corinthians. Why is he saying?
He's not telling people that are married to get married. In that verse,
Every woman a man sleeps with would have been married, right?
Yes.
To that woman.
Will you say that again?
So why would Paul say if you can't control yourself, right, to get married, right?
Well, he's saying it's better not to marry.
Yeah. But if you must get married, right? If you can't control yourself, get married.
Right. He is.
So does that mean that any person then, if they just went that night and went and banged any chick that they banged, they would have been married to her, and they could have done that to as many women as they wanted, and Paul would have recognized those as valid marriages?
We don't teach that. The Bible don't teach that.
Yeah, but in order to be consistent.
I'm just trying to answer. Right?
Yeah. But hang on. Wait. Hang on. I wasn't done with the question. But in order to be consistent, in order to be consistent here, you would have to make the admittal that every single man who slept with a woman would have been married, right, to that woman.
Are you done with it? Because I don't want to talk and you say you.
Yeah, but I want you to actually answer the question I'm asking.
I am answering the question. The first thing I said was we don't teach that. Neither does the Bible teach that. The Bible does not teach have sex with every woman you can find.
Why not? You're married to him then.
Because Deuteronomy 17:17 says, "Do not multiply wives to yourselves or gold to yourselves, that it turn your heart away from the Most High." So Paul wouldn't say have sex with every woman that you can find. But Paul did say it's better not to marry. That's how you know the wife in Timothy, back to your first question, is not talking about a literal woman. Because the same man that wrote Corinthians is the same man that wrote Timothy's. So in one breath, he's saying, don't get married. But if you have to, go ahead and marry the woman. That's what he's saying.
So
what
let me
I want to highlight, hold up. What I want to highlight,
you just
in 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, that is a man that has more than one wife. And Paul is not chastising him for having more than one wife. He's chastising the people in Corinth for not saying nothing about his son sleeping with his wife. So when you say there's no multiple wives in the New Testament, that's a lie.
So let's just see logically if this follows. Let's make sure, because I want to get an actual yes or no answer here. If you slept with let's say you had a female neighbor, if you went and slept with her tomorrow, that woman is your wife, right?
Yes.
You have not sinned, right?
I have not.
Okay, so then logically,
but just this one thing, she can't be married. She got to be single. She can't be with a man.
What if she's just has a state marriage?
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Wait, so you
Wait,
do
wait, wait, wait,
validate
wait,
state
wait, wait,
marriage?
wait, hold
Wait,
on.
so you do validate state
No,
marriage?
no,
Uh-oh.
I want to make sure I could clarify
Uh-oh.
what you're saying, because you can have a state marriage. Like I know of stories where people got married just so that they can have citizenship, but they were never intimate. So are you saying, in your analogy, that this is a single woman, but she has a piece of paper with a man that she's not sleeping with, saying that they're married? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Then she would still be single.
Okay, so then if you slept with her, you're married, right?
Yes.
Just like that. And now you're responsible for her, right?
Yes, which is
Okay.
why, if I can just add this part, which is why a
Mhm.
lot of times when, and even you're a witness to this, a lot of times when people hear us say sex is marriage, they just think we run around having sex with women, when the actual process is to court a woman first. So what we do is we court a woman, make sure they understand what this means if we have sex. If
Yeah,
we,
but if you get too drunk one
I
night,
don't get to.
or, but if you did, if a man got too drunk at a bar one night and he had sex with a chick, that's his wife, right?
Yeah, he bite that bullet. I'm sorry, just trying to. Yeah, he bite. Yeah, he bites that bullet. He
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
make
So
that
so
mistake.
that's going to be his wife. So if this is the case, I just want to make sure you're going to show me somewhere in the Bible where it is the case that the apostles and Jesus Christ somewhere affirm that every woman a man sleeps with becomes his wife, right?
In the new, well, I just show. Wait. I'm going to show in the New Testament, because I know that's what you're holding me to, that when a man lays with a woman, that's his wife.
Yes.
Yeah, Mary and Joseph.
What?
Mary and Joseph. They
What
didn't
are
have
you talking about?
before the ceremony of marriage. Joseph had sex with Mary and brought forth Christ.
What okay, show me.
Right in Matthew. So in Matthew
Okay,
1,
Matthew what?
Matthew 1 and 6, no, I'm sorry, Matthew's 1 and 18.
Okay, Matthew 1 what?
Matthew said Matthew's 1 and 18. Oh, so I'm sorry, Matthew's chapter 1. I thought you knew numbers. You clearly don't.
Well,
Matthew's
when you say
chapter 1.
when you say 1 and 18, it makes me think you're saying chapter 1, chapter 18. Are you saying
That's how I
118?
know
What?
you don't know the Bible.
Well, I'm just asking
Even
what
the
you
average
mean.
Christian knows if you say Matthew's 1:18 is chapter
You didn't
1,
say
verse
it.
18.
You said 1 and 18.
No,
And
no,
you
no,
said 1
no.
and
This is
18.
crazy. Hey, don't sweat, man. Don't sweat.
I'll bet you right now. In fact, we'll stop it. I'll bet you right now $1,000. You said 1 and 18. I'll have Cooley replay it. You want to make that
Even
bet?
if I said 1
That's
and
right.
18,
That's
it's still the
right.
same thing.
Yeah, no,
Every
I want to
Christian,
make sure that
I'm
you're
gonna tell
saying
you, what's
bro.
today? I was today years old when I asked a self-professed Christian, Christian,
1
to
and
go to
18.
Matthew's 1
Turn,
and
turn.
18.
Hey,
I'm gonna
foo,
say it exactly how
turn
you
to
said
chapter 1 and 18. What are you talking about? That's
it.
incoherent
You know
gobbledygook
how
to
I know
me.
you slow? Because if I
Yeah,
meant both
that's
chapters, I would have said chapters 1 and 18.
yeah. So 18. This is how the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, came about. His mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was pregnant through the Holy Spirit.
No, I don't read that version. So now
Of
Matthew,
course not. Go. Let's read your version.
it's not my version. It's the King
Okay, you want
James
to do the King
version.
James version?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll do the King James version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so his mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph before they came together.
That's not the King James.
Yeah, it didn't
I
update.
can read
Hang on
it.
a
I can
second.
read it if you want to make
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
Thank you. Matthew's 1 and 18. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit.
Oh, okay.
That's
So it says the
that
exact same thing I just said.
right. That's a man and a woman having sex before the
No, that's
ceremony
not.
of
That's
marriage.
literally not a man and a woman having sex. You just made that up out of thin air.
Okay, no problem. So when it says espoused to Joseph, we agree that it's engaged, right?
Yes.
So now, let's say if today is August 6th, let's say if they were engaged to get married in November. So that's their set date, November 19th. So they're engaged for that time. And then it says,
Okay.
before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit, right? So
Yeah.
they're not husband and wife yet, right?
Yeah.
You saying they are husband and wife or they're not?
No, they're not. No.
Thank you. So in verse 19, same chapter.
Yeah.
Then Joseph, her husband. You see how the language changed? It says, Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privately. Verse 20. You want to say something on that?
When did they get married?
In verse 18, when they had the sex.
So
That's why
hang on. I
verse
just want to
20
make sure. Hang on. Let me make sure I got the argument right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're saying that she's found to be pregnant by the Holy Spirit, right? And then after they have sex, they're married, right?
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay. Let's
When
make
it
sure.
said-
I want to make sure I get the
Okay, no
argument
problem.
right.
So when it says
Yeah.
the Holy Spirit, like John was
Yeah.
born of the Holy Spirit too. You may not know that. When you read Luke, the first chapter, John was born of the Holy Spirit too. What it means to be born by the Holy Spirit means the Lords want this action to take place. That's what that means. So, and you know he wants that action because they go from being espoused or engaged, and you just said they wasn't husband and wife.
Then go to Matthew 125.
Wait, I'm gonna get there. Why I gotta jump there? I was gonna read verse 20.
I'll just read it for you.
Wait. I want to read
And
verse
knew
20.
her
Wait,
not till she had brought forth her firstborn
This is where
son,
why you
and he
gotta be
called his
rude.
name Jesus.
But why you gotta be rude though? I didn't have a
What do you
problem reading
mean?
that. All I said was I just wanted
Because
to
you
read
won't. You listen. The only way for me to engage in this debate with you,
Right.
you refuse
Now-
to do it unless I jump through the verse. You
That's
refuse
cap.
to.
That's cap.
No, it's not cap. So
I
that's
even
actually
tried
what
to
happened.
help you find the verses.
Yeah,
I
125.
just read this
Oh, I'm
verse for
sorry. I'm
you.
sorry. Let me use your language. Go to verse 1 and 25. Okay, go to
I wouldn't
verse
say
1
go to
and
verse 1. I wouldn't say
25,
that.
and you'll.
You
It
can't
says,
even,
"And
you
knew
can't
her
even
not
quote me right.
till she had brought forth her
You
firstborn
can't
son."
even, you can't even
What is
quote me
what
right.
is new? What does knew her not mean?
Before we get there, I don't have a
What does
problem
new?
reading
What
verse
does new her
25.
not mean?
I just want to. Okay, I'll answer your verse question, and then I'll read 20. The reason why I wanted to read 20 first is because 25, when it says knew her not till she brought forth her firstborn son, the brought forth is not coming out of the vagina. The brought forth is the first time that they had sex and she conceived in her stomach. That's the sum total.
Prove it.
If you would have let me start at 20, I'll prove it. Thank you. So you already admitted that in verse 18, they was not husband and wife. In verse 19, it says, then Joseph, her husband. Verse 20, but while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife. The angel didn't say espoused. The angel said your wife, because they had sex. That's how Christ.
It doesn't show anywhere in there that they had sex.
That is.
No. No, show me where it says that they had sex.
I just read it in 18.
Read it again.
Matthew's 1 and 18. As
Read
Mary
it.
was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit.
That's not proof that they had sex.
Quick question.
That's the opposite of proof that they had sex. It says literally that
before they came together, right? Because it says before they came together, right?
Yeah. Yes. They didn't have sex. No.
The before they came together is not talking about sex. When you actually look that up in the Greek, the before they came together is saying before the ceremony of marriage.
Show me in the Greek.
No problem. So if, I have an Eastward app here. So if you go down there and you look at the came together part, it says to convey, depart in company with association, cohabitate, assemble, come together. That's what that word means. G4905.
So it means exactly what it's saying right there.
It's not
before
talking
they
about.
came together.
You know how you know it's not talking about sex? Because in verse 25, the knew her not that you thinks means they wasn't having sex. That's the language that it used. It would have used that language in verse 18.
Well, let's see if this adds up. Go to Matthew 120.
That's where I'm at. That's what I just read.
Okay.
You might mean 19.
Yeah. So well,
See,
no, read
I'll help
120
you again.
Read 1 and 20 again.
Okay. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife
Mhm.
because she's pregnant, and what she's pregnant with is not your child. It was conceived with the Holy Spirit,
doesn't
sir.
say
That's
it's not a
literally
child.
what that says.
So
That
now,
is what that's saying.
are you done?
Yeah.
Thank you. When you go to Luke, the first chapter, was Elizabeth's
Okay.
son John conceived of the Holy Spirit?
Luke, what? What are we going to?
Let me make sure I say it for you. Luke chapter 1. He ain't got no spirit, y'all. No spirit at all. Luke 1. It's like it. Luke 1 and verse. Hold up. Bear with me 1 second. I think it's like a 15. Luke 1 and 15.
1 and 15. Got it.
But she
Hey,
said, but
Cap,
he
chill
shall be
with the
great.
ad hominems, man.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. He been talking trash about me all day. Talk about how I talk.
Nah. That was a different one, man.
What
Just
did I
chill out.
say?
Just have some decorum.
No, just
man.
correct me.
Come
Just tell me what I said.
we all know what you just said, man. I'm
For
just saying
he
chill.
will
That's all I'm
be,
saying. Go
for he
ahead.
will be great in the sight of the Lord. He is never to take wine or other fermented drink.
It says he shall be filled with the Holy Spirit even from his mother's womb. How did that Holy Spirit get in there?
Okay, well, I guess I'm reading something different than you. It's Luke 1:15.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well then, let me pull it up.
Like you read the
maybe I'm
beginning
reading.
part.
Okay, we'll make sure we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, shall drink neither wine nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Holy Spirit, even from his mother's womb. That's not conceived of the Holy Spirit.
How does she? Do you know anything
That's
about
not
Elizabeth?
conception.
Okay, no problem. You may not know anything about Elizabeth. Do you know anything about her?
Tell me all about her.
Now you see the difference between you and I. When I told you I didn't know what deacon was, you wouldn't answer. Me, because I'm better than you, I'll answer.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth was barren and she needed her womb open.
Okay.
And so the Lord allowed her and Zachariah to be intimate to bring forth John. But there's no verse that says that they actually had intercourse. But when you read, I think Luke 1 and 24, it says, and after those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived and hid herself. So most people think the conceived is coming out the womb, but the conceived is not coming out the womb. The conceived is staying, it's just when the sperm cracks the egg. And then you also see that when you read further in Luke 1.
You're supposing these things. You're not demonstrating them. You're just supposing
Well, you know
them.
that the baby wasn't born because when Mary visits her cousin Elizabeth, she's sick. Not Mary. Elizabeth is 6 months pregnant. So when it uses the word conceived for Elizabeth, it's not talking about the birth. It's
Yeah,
talking
but
about
what
the
does this
sperm
have to
cracking the
do
egg.
with the baby being conceived by the Holy Spirit, though?
Because what I'm trying to teach you is that when
Teach.
I've been doing it all day.
I can't wait to hear more.
I like you a little bit, Andrew. I don't like a lot of white people, but you all right. When it says the
It's
Holy
the beard.
Spirit does
It's a
anything,
good beard.
you said
Good
what?
beard. I said it's the beard. It's a good beard. I got a good
I
beard.
don't know about that because I'm not a homosexual, so I ain't looking at your beard. So now, when it says anything that's done by the Holy Spirit, it means that the Lord is going to have you perform something for him. You can say the Spirit of the Lord was on Moses. Spirit of the Lord was on Abraham and Sarah. You can say the Spirit of the Lord was on Samson's parents, John's parents, Christ's parents. That's why you'll read John 1 and 45 when they say we have found him, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. So I've answered your question.
No, this actually doesn't demonstrate that Joseph ever had sex ever with
Yeah, they
Mary when
did.
it came to Jesus.
Yes,
No,
yes, they
it
did.
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Because, okay,
No, it doesn't.
now,
No, it
now,
doesn't.
here's what I'll ask you. Christ has to be the son of David, right?
From the line of David.
Right. Is Joseph from the line of David?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check.
Oh, well, let me answer. Listen, in that same Matthew 1 and 20, the angel said, excuse me, it says, but he thought on things, but the angel of the Lord appeared in a dream and said, Joseph, thou son of David.
Okay, so he was also of the line of David.
Mary was not from David.
Yeah, so what? That doesn't
So-
prove that Joseph was the sire.
So if Mary is not from David and Christ has to come from the line of David through the loins, then it has to be sex.
Wait, through the loins?
Yes. That's what
Oh,
God.
so you can
That's
show,
the oath that God swore to David.
you can show me where it says that it has to come through the lines through the loins, huh?
Yes.
Go
In
ahead.
the book of Acts. Listen, I told
Acts?
you I'm gonna teach you all day.
I
Go to
can't
the
wait
book-
to hear it.
Go to the book of Acts. Listen,
Acts,
man.
okay.
Listen, man. You might not be that. They told me you was a little crazy, a little hostile, but you might not be that bad. Go to Acts chapter 2, verse
Okay.
30.
Okay.
Go to Acts 2 and 30. Let me know when you get there. Make sure you read the KJV.
Yeah. I'm pulling up the KJV.
Yeah, pull that up.
Therefore, being a prophet, knowing that God had sworn an oath to him, that of the fruit of his loins, which
The
according
fruit
to
of
flesh,
what?
he would raise up Christ to sit on his throne.
The fruit of what?
Of his loins.
You asked me to show it. Booyah.
So now you're going to show me. Now you're going to show me real quick how this demonstrates that the Holy Spirit, that Joseph was the one who sired Mary. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so now I'm just going to recap real quick. How we got here was Andrew asked me to show where in the New Testament a man and woman had sex and then they were husband and wife. I said Jesus. I said not Jesus like that. I said Mary and Joseph. So we read it.
Because you think that Joseph was the actual father of Jesus, right? You know that.
Then I read that through the Holy Spirit coming upon both Joseph and Mary, they had intercourse. Christ.
Yeah, you haven't shown that. In fact, the passages refute that. They say that's not the case.
The verse.
Yes, they do. We just read it, dude. They say it's not the case. You haven't demonstrated this at all.
Did God swear through an oath that the fruit of David's loins, Christ will come?
Well, so in Acts, I would go get context for it, but I'll just grant it. I don't even think it matters.
Thank you. It does matter because what they're quoting in the book of Acts is 2 Samuel 7 and 12. That's where the Lord swore that oath. And so now,
by the way, Luke, I'm sorry, I just pulled this up just to make sure, but Mary was from the line of Mary was from the line of David, actually.
Where?
Mary was from the line of David.
Where?
Yeah, so go to Luke 132.
Don't do it.
And then go to Luke 3:23-38.
I don't think you want Luke 1 and 32. I think you want the Luke 3. I think that's what you want. Because Luke 1 and 30.
The genealogy is often understood as tracing Jesus' lineage through Mary. No. This is how the church understands it.
No, they did not.
Yes, the original church does.
I can pull up a source and show you that that's not true.
Yeah, I'll pull up the original church fathers. They claim that he did not have sex with Mary. That this conception was from a virgin, bro.
Okay, on the subject of the lineage, have you ever heard of the church father Julius Sextus Africanus? Have you ever heard of him?
I have not.
You've heard of Eusebius before? That might be a familiar name.
Yeah,
because Eusebius is a little bit more known than Sextus Africanus. All right.
Okay.
So Eusebius wrote ecclesiastical history. That's what he wrote. And in ecclesiastical history, he quotes Julius Sextus Africanus as establishing both lineages belong to Joseph. And when you look up the writings of Julius Sextus Africanus, I have them. I can read them if it's necessary. You see that Julius goes through great detail to show that in Luke, the 3rd chapter, and Matthew, the 1st chapter, the Jacob in Matthew's 1, the Heli in Luke 3 were 11 brothers. So like, let's say if me and Cooley is brothers, I die. Cooley lays with my wife. So when that child, we call the child Danny. So the child.
What was this guy's name?
Julius Sextus Africanus. I have the PDF if you need it.
Yeah, Julius Sextus Africanus. Got it.
And then the other gentleman is Eusebius. He wrote ecclesiastical history. So Sextus Africanus is the one that breaks down the levirate marriage. So basically what he breaks down is how the house of David would intermarry within the house. So Nathan's sons, Solomon's sons, they would just intermarry. If someone died without a
And how is this guy tied to the? Hang on, how is this guy tied to the church?
Julius Sextus?
Yeah,
He's regarded as one of
Africanus.
your church fathers.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Is that the case? Was he actually one of our church fathers?
Yeah, that's what. So Eusebius for sure was, and Eusebius.
I'm talking Africanus here.
Yeah, Julius Sextus. I'm gonna see if I get it. I can get it for you. I'll get the actual article because I have it. Let me see. Julius. The Julius is with a U, I believe. Yeah, Julius is Juliu.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the individual, so I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you. So he wrote what he wrote was the epistle to the Aristides.
Okay.
And in that epistle, he broke down. I have it here if you ever need it. He broke down the reason why Matthew says Jacob and Luke says Heli. And I'll read this little summary for you. It says, this says, Mathan descended from Solomon begat Jacob. Mathan dying, Melchi descending from Nathan begat Heli by the same wife. Therefore, Heli and Jacob are uterine brothers. Heli dying childless, Jacob raised up seed to him and begat Joseph by his own son by nature.
So Julius is set as a chronographer. That's true, but he's not a saint in the church. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that we would cite. I'm not sure that we would cite this source as being one that I would consider to be the one that's credible on this topic.
Would you cite ecclesiastical history?
Yeah, ecclesiology. It depends on how we're going through ecclesiology, though. Or ecclesiastical history.
So what I'm saying is, I'm just downloading. I'm gonna read this for you because Eusebius, who is a church father, he wrote. Let me read the name of this book. It's called Ecclesiastical History, Eusebius Pamphlets, translated from the original Historical View. And in this, he quotes Eusebius as having established, because the discrepancy in the church was Matthew and Luke with the lineages. And so
help me out here. Did Sextus Julius Africanus believe that Joseph had sex with Mary?
I can't speak on that because I haven't read if he does. That's why I'm not making up.
Well, don't you think though that if this guy who you're sorting or who you're citing as being the one that you're going to put the lineage of the line of David on as the chronological source, shouldn't he agree with you that this couldn't be the Holy Spirit then and had to actually be Joseph who had sex with her, right? He would have to agree with that, wouldn't he?
So he doesn't have to agree with, because
he doesn't. Then how do we get to the line then?
I'm gonna tell you. The argument that you're making and other Christians try to make to substantiate Mary is to say that Mary is from the house of David. We can't read that nowhere in the New Testament. So Christians just hypothesize that. So whether Africanus believes that God made Mary pregnant or Joseph made Mary pregnant is irrelevant.
It's relevant. I'll explain why it's relevant. So if Africanus says the line of David could only have come from Joseph, we're sorting it this way, right? We're saying that the line of Joseph is only David. Then if he believed that there was still a virgin birth, then how would that be reconciled?
Well, I believe that there's a virgin birth.
What?
I believe that there's a virgin birth. I don't disbelieve in virgin birth. We just have a different understanding.
So how did they? How is he the father? So how's he the father of Jesus Christ? I thought he had sex with Mary.
Got you. So a virgin in the Bible is not a woman that's never had sex. It's a young woman. So if you take a 45-year-old woman that's never had sex, you're not calling her a virgin. She's just an old woman. But if you take that 20-year-old, you're gonna say if she has sex, you're not gonna stop calling her a young woman. So Isaiah 7:14, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the verse that says, "Behold, a virgin shall conceive," right? Now, that scripture is twofold, because that scripture is talking about Isaiah's wife and it's talking about Mary. But when it's spoken about Isaiah's wife, that's her second son. So she's being called a virgin, even though she's had sex already.
So what did they mean when they said virgin?
Virgin is just young woman. The word is alma.
Okay.
In the Hebrew, the word is just, so what it really should say, behold, a young woman shall conceive.
Got it. So then what you're saying that all virgin means then in this context to you is that Mary is a young woman.
Yes.
So when you say virgin birth, you just mean a young woman
Right.
Gave birth. Okay, right. That's fine. I contextually understand your view, but none of that actually demonstrates that Joseph had sex with her. One, and two, when we're talking about Africanus, if he believed in a virgin birth, that would actually refute your point of looking at him for the chronology here. And three, there's no good reason for me to accept Africanus as an authority on these matters. He's not a saint in our church, right? And in church history, he's not a saint in any church that I'm aware of. So the thing is why is it that I'm supposed to appeal to him instead of the various other church fathers who claim that when they say virgin, untouched, they claim no sex. They claim that there was no sex. Why are they wrong?
So when you say Julius Africanus, you don't have to respect him. His peers did. So that's why he's in ecclesiastical history. Second.
Yeah, but there's no reason that we need to utilize him as some sole authority.
Well, he is the closest that you can have that can explain. And here's what I mean. Whether he believes, he can still believe. The whole point of Christians, so let's say Sextus Eusebius yourself are the Christians that believe that God made Mary pregnant. They all know that they still need Joseph because the lineage that they're tying to Christ says Joseph. It doesn't say Mary.
Yeah, but Matthew 1:25 is specifically saying that Joseph didn't have sex with Mary.
Let me ask
it's
you a question.
Specifically saying that.
Let me ask you a question. In Matthew's chapter 1, verse 1, it says, this is the book of the generations of Jesus Christ, the son of Abraham, the son of David, right? And when you read that, whose generational line is that? Is it Mary's or Joseph's?
From the genealogy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that the perspective on that was Joseph, but I'm not sure. I'll have to go check.
No, it is. So, like, I got a stepson, right? So
yeah, but all that would demonstrate is that they're both of the same line.
There's no verse that says Mary's from that line.
Yeah, no, that Joseph and Jesus would be from the same line. That doesn't mean that Joseph sired him, though.
Yes, it does.
That's the point. No, it doesn't. It doesn't demonstrate that he sired him.
You know, Mary is not even the only woman in that chapter. Ruth is in that chapter. What does that
have to do with anything? It doesn't demonstrate that he sired him. You have to demonstrate that.
Let me just answer.
And by the way, what does any of this even have to do with polygyny in the West anyway? What does any of this even have to do with it?
Well, what you asked was for me to show you in the New Testament where that took place of just having sex.
It didn't take place.
It did.
No, they didn't have sex and then they were married. That didn't take place.
You know how you know he was cut?
Because what does this have to do with you proving that anywhere in the New Testament, when a man had sex with a woman, that became his wife? You have not demonstrated that. All you keep claiming is that Joseph must have sired Jesus, right?
So
it's like you haven't demonstrated that either. All you did was refute yourself. Hang on, with Matthew 1:25, it refutes everything that you're saying right now. Everything. And here's the thing. I let you in good faith. I followed along everything you asked me to pull up. I followed along everything you asked me. Now it's my turn.
Wait, can I just make one statement?
Yeah, no, it's my turn now to do some cross-examination.
30 seconds.
Bro, then give me your word. Give me your word after that I get a cross-examination. Your word. I want your word.
Yeah, I'm not after 30 seconds. All right. You can ask me
questions. All right, go ahead.
No problem. So now, what I want to demonstrate is that in verse 19, when it says Mary, so the birth of Christ was on this wise, they was espoused. Was he agreed? They was not husband and wife. And then the very next verse, it says, then Joseph, her husband, he asked me to show how sex made you married. You can't go from engaged to husband without having sex. You have the floor.
I mean, that literally doesn't demonstrate that. But that aside, Now on my cross-examination, as I went in good faith through everything that you presented, went through all of it, answered your questions. Now it's my turn. I just want some answers to my questions, please. Just like I answered yours, in as good a faith as you can possibly do it. Now, I want to know specifically, what are the terms in which in Hebrew Israelite church or whatever it is you're a part of, how is it that a man can divorce from a woman? What are the ways in which that can happen?
Okay. As I answer this question, I just want to make sure that this is on the record. I was being cross-examined, not him. It just flipped that way because we got here because I'm about to tell you, you told me to demonstrate in the New Testament where a man and woman had sex and they was married. That's how
I don't
started.
care. This is meta conversation. Just answer my question, dude.
I'm just making sure that's clear.
Yeah,
okay,
Cap.
whatever.
Cap, you were cross-examining him, but it's okay, man. Let's just answer the question.
I don't have a problem.
I'm not interested in the meta. Let's just go to the question.
This ain't meta. This is alpha. Just putting you in your place.
No, meta. Do you know what a meta conversation means? A conversation about the conversation.
I'm just showing what an alpha is. What determines divorce in our paradigm is if a woman commits adultery. That's
or
what
murder.
the term. Well, I don't know if that in the Bible, and I don't know if that in real life to entertain your insane way of thinking. But our thought process and what Christ said rather, is that if a woman commits fornication, aka adultery, you can divorce her.
Okay, but you said that you would divorce a woman based on if she killed one of your children.
I answered your crazy question, yes, and I said yes.
Yeah, there's nothing crazy about it. Here's why it's not crazy. I demonstrated to you that just in lieu of you having people who are not a biological parent inside of the household, right, the chances of a child getting hurt or injured by this other person who's not a biological parent drastically go up. I can give you all of the data on this if you'd like.
Can you say that one more time? I apologize.
Yes. If it is the case that you live in a household with non-biological parents, your chances of injury drastically increase. So if the state has custody of you, drastically increase. You have a stepdad, it increases. Stepmom, it increases. And in polygamous homes where there's multiple wives, the chances of a child getting hurt increase by the non-blooded parent. They increase. That is
Israelites.
Hang on. That is in fact the case when you study polygamy. So the thing is that why it is pertinent is because your chances would increase of one of your wives hurting one of your children that's not one of her biological offspring. So it's pertinent for me to ask, inside of your religion, could you leave her? You said yes. And then you said the only way for you to leave a person or divorce them, separate yourself from them, is actually through fornication. This is a P, not P contradiction. It's a literal P, not P. So you have to reconcile this contradiction. How can you divorce your wife if she murders one of your children? How can you do that?
Because in the Bible, when David was dancing, he just united he just united all 12 tribes. He dancing on the dance floor, getting busy. And as he dancing, I guess his skirt or his garment or whatever showed a little bit. And the ladies was going wild. And then one of his wives complained about it. And he said, I'll get my glory from them rather, that you did not give me. And he put her up in a tower, turned her into Rumpelstiltskin, never had kids with her, never did anything with her.
Yeah, now, can you answer my question now?
This is answering your question. So the reason why I can put her away is because of the heinous act in your scenario that she did. Wait, why can't I finish answering? In real time.
Well, how long are you going to filibuster, dude? I just want to get through the questions. The answer is yes, you can, right? You can divorce her?
Yeah, I can. Biblically.
Absent fornication?
In a normal environment, no. In the absurd environment that you say, no.
What? Can you divorce her or not?
I said that wrong. In the absurd environment that you created, yes. But in a normal environment,
can you divorce her if she diddles one of them?
Yes. If she diddle,
Okay,
when you say diddle, you talk about
molest
another.
him.
You talk about another
Yeah,
woman,
molest
right?
him. Yeah, a woman's molesting one of your sons. Can you divorce her for that?
Yeah, I don't understand these weird questions right here, man. I'm not,
They're
like,
super
you a freak.
pertinent.
You might have been with Epstein or
Yeah, this
something.
is not freakish. When you open up by talking about how the Catholic priest molests children, that's perfectly
But then
relevant.
when you go
When
in
I
your
talk about
mind
abuse,
and
but when I
say
talk
this
about
freaky
abuse and
stuff you
polygyny,
thinking,
that's not relevant. It's
you
like, what are you
definitely
talking
with
about?
Epstein. You was with
Yeah,
Epstein.
whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah, Epstein. So
Hey,
anyway,
Cap, it's relevant. There's
it's
answer to
totally.
questions, man.
Not only is
Why
it
can't
totally relevant.
Why he can talk about my language? I couldn't read a word, but when I do something to him, you got to say something cool. Come
You
on,
can
man.
attack me.
Cap,
I
I
don't
was
care.
I was
Like,
totally fair.
look,
Cap.
I don't
I've
give a
been
shit.
chilling.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
care about any of your insults. I just want the
there you
questions
go.
answered.
There
So,
you go.
so it's the case then that you can divorce outside of fornication, outside of your wife cheating with
In
another
your
man.
Epstein-minded view, I would not stay with anybody that's molesting a kid, that's unaliving a kid,
Yeah.
nor would they be a part of our community, because you cannot molest kids and be amongst us.
Yeah, but like that's so stupid. There's no way for you to notate that to know that this will be the case or not the case. If you had like 6 wives and they all lived in a household with you, right? One of them could kill feasibly one of your other children. They could do that. They could just have postpartum depression and drown them. Just drown them in a tub. They get angry one day and do that. Like that shit happens. It's not a joke. I don't know why you think that this is Epstein Island conspiratorial tinfoil hat stuff. That could happen. And if it does, I just want you to say that, yes, you can leave her for that.
I said it already, though. You keep
Okay,
asking the
if
same
that's
thing.
the case, you're in a performative contradiction because you believe it's only under the idea of fornication that you can leave your wife, and that's it. And yet here you say, no, you can leave her for other extenuating circumstances as well. How about this? Okay, is it the case that if you found out that your wife was robbing everybody else in your family, okay, and was also an addict, could you leave her then?
No.
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 You couldn't leave her then?
No. I wouldn't.
No.
I would fix it.
Okay. And then what if it's the case that you found out that your wife, before you met her, right, had a multitude of sexual partners that you were unaware of and had contracted HIV? Could you leave her then?
I would know that before I got with her.
Yeah, it didn't show up on the tests.
How would that
The
not
HIV,
show up?
and she hit her pass. She hit it. She hit it from
I
you.
get the part about the sex, but how is HIV hidden? They got a my chart.
But you go down, you get a test. Let's just say you go down and get a test. The HIV doesn't show up on the test for whatever reason. There's some, mistake at the lab, perhaps something like this. You find out she has HIV. You found out that she had tons of sexual partners before you that she did not disclose to you, and you married her anyway. Can you leave her then?
Yeah, I wouldn't be with her no more.
Okay, yeah, so you can leave her then. So there's
This
all
is
kinds
Epstein
of,
files, y'all. This
so
the
there's all
Epstein
sorts
portion
of
of the
ways
matter.
in which you can leave your wife even if she's not cheating on you with somebody. So you're just lying. You're lying to us. You're lying to everybody who's listening. You lied about how it is that you're able to separate yourself from your wife. You are caught in a performative contradiction. You lied, sir. And not only that, let's point this out.
Is what white women do.
How could it be the case that polygyny, under this especially, under your idealism of polygyny, how's that going to help the West? How's that actually going to help the West?
When you say under my ideal, can you explain what you mean?
Yeah, whatever you think the rules are when it comes to polygyny. Like, for instance, can your wives have sex with each other?
No.
Can you have sex with them at the same time?
No.
Okay, can you ejaculate halfway in one and then the rest of the way in another?
That's the same. This the Epstein portion of the battle, y'all. Because that's
weird. It's important to make these distinctions.
I just said I can't have sex with them at the same time. So why would your mind say half
could you have sex
in one and ejaculate
could you
in
have
another?
Because they're different questions. Could you have sex with one of them in the same bed, another one sleeping in?
That's fornication. No.
Well, how is that fornication?
Because they can't see each other's nakedness.
Okay, so in your view, when it comes to
the Epstein files,
when it comes to this,
some weird questions right here.
What is correct for you under polygyny is that you can have as many wives as you sleep with becomes your wife, right? You have to take care of those women.
Is that many?
What's that?
You cannot have as many.
Well, you're going to have as many as you sleep with, right?
What I mean by that is, that's why I reference Deuteronomy 17:17, when it says, do not multiply wives to yourselves, that it turn your heart of what is. So you
Yeah, but if
cannot.
somebody decided to go ahead and sleep with 30 women, under your view, he's married to all 30 of those women, right?
Yes.
And he
all
needs
the
to take care of
questions that
all of those women as though they were his wife,
You
right?
said what?
And he needs to take care of all those women as though they are his
like
wife,
like
right?
a great manager would.
Okay, yes.
But
So if this is the case, what would be the enforcement arm here to make sure that these men take care of all the women that they have sex with? How would you enforce that?
that's actually a good question. And what I want to say is, all of this weird shit that he said from Epstein Island, monogamous people do all the time.
No, monogamous people don't come in one woman and then come in another. They're not monogamous definitionally.
Calculate in one, put it in another.
No, they don't. That would be definitionally not monogamy.
Yes, they do. Yes,
no, that wouldn't be monogamy.
So now,
but anyway, who cares? Answer the question, please.
So to answer your question, and here's the beautiful part about us as Israelites, the way that we teach it. America is a cesspool of fornication, monogamous or polygamous. But they don't do it right. That's why he asked me these weird questions. He's asking me these weird questions because there were people like Neo, for example, the entertainer Neo.
You just answer the question, dude.
This is the answer. Why you go on your feelings, man?
I just want you to answer. How would you enforce this?
I'm answering. We would enforce it by re-educating our men and women the value of sex itself. The whole reason why we say sex is marriage, because the world does not believe that. Andrew and I do agree that the paper means nothing as far as marriage goes, but the world does not. The world believes that as long as I don't have that paper marriage, I can have sex with whoever I want to have sex with. So when we come and teach, we actually put the value on sex by re-educating and saying, no, you don't sow your oats and sleep with every woman. You don't have sex with every man. If you have sex with that woman, you got to keep her. And then what did that do? What does that do? That forces you to find out about her past, his past.
Yeah, what about enforcement, though? Can we get to that part? How do you enforce it?
We teach it. We don't force any. See, white people will say force because that's what y'all do. Y'all rape, enslave, and pillage. So you should really
you're gonna have to use.
You should ask your people.
Wait a second. You are going to have to use force necessarily, because if somebody says that they're a part of your church and they want to be a part of your church, and you say, no, you can't be a part of our church, you're going to enforce that, right?
No. When you say enforce, it means stop them. Like if you try to come into my school, I would say, no, you can't.
Right.
And then if you tried to but you would have to force your way, then we would be defending ourselves. We wouldn't be forcing.
So you would be using force to defend yourself, right?
Right. In that instance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
so
we don't
when we're
go
talking
out and force people.
Yeah. I get it. We're just talking about basic force doctrine here, right? So the idea here, though, is that
force. Your people force.
Yeah. Whatever it is, you're saying defense. It's still force. Defense is force. You agree?
No. Defense is defense.
You don't agree defense is force?
Let me look that up. Defense is defending.
Yes, but it's using force.
Offense is force.
No, defense is also can be used as force, yes. Both are force.
Let's see.
You could say enforce might be a different word. Maybe that's what you're looking for, is enforce.
Wait. Is the
enforce would usually be the
I typed this defense force and it says yes. The term defense force can refer to the national military, so I don't think they understand it. I'm going to try to type it differently.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you're defending yourself by punching a person in the face, you're using force, right?
Yes. But the reason why I'm saying
defense is also force and offense is force. They're both force in this situation.
I wouldn't necessarily put them in the same category, but I'm going to do you for a second.
I would agree that intent.
I'm going to agree with you for that. That's the easy one.
Yeah.
Just force.
Okay, so when we're talking about enforcement, right? You don't want to actually have any sort of enforcement at the governmental level, at the so you don't want your ecclesiology to be enforced at the government level, right?
No, I do actually. I think
that you do. So you actually want to use force?
No,
then,
I don't.
Don't you?
No, you actually.
Well, then how? I don't understand. How could the government enforce it without force?
Hear what you're saying. what I want. What I would prefer if we lived according to God's laws, absolutely. Am I going to force or tell the government by force we got to do that? No. You show me where Christ did what he did by force, because he did not.
Wait, that's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking if you would force a government. I'm asking if you would like for the government to enforce your worldview.
No.
Okay.
No, I would not.
No.
Because if they get, let me answer. If they get to enforcing, somehow blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians going to be the one enforced while y'all are free. I don't want y'all to force nothing. Y'all history of force, black people, Hispanic people suffer.
Okay, so then in your view of your ecclesiology, you don't want that at the government top-down level promoting your ecclesiology, right? You don't want the government doing that?
Not by force, no. I don't see
then
that.
What
in the
fuck is the difference between the system you're advocating for in the West and the one we already have, where you can already do the shit you're doing? What's the difference? It's the same system. The system here is the liberal system of you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting somebody else. The system that you're advocating, you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else.
No.
You don't want any enforcement of your ecclesiology at the national level. Hang on. You literally said this. I don't want any of my ecclesiastical authority enforced at the national level or the government level, period. You don't want that. So how is it that right this second, we don't already have what you want? Right this second, you can be a polygynist. Right this second, we can do exactly what anybody can do exactly what you're doing. You can go fuck a chick and say, now you're my wife. And she goes, oh, I agree. And so both of you, hang on, both of you now are married according to you. You can do this. Hang on, you can do this right this second. What are you bringing? What are you bringing to the table here that's changing any of this? What are you bringing to the table here?
So in the beginning of this diet, first I want to show how nasty he is, because he brought up having sex with a chicken. That's Epstein.
Chick. No, I said a chick. Not a fucking chicken. I say you go bang a chick.
Chicken. No problem. So now
a chick. No, not that wouldn't even make sense in context. You can go bang a chicken and now you're married. It's like that wouldn't even make sense.
That's what it sounded like you said to me, man. I'm sorry, but
instead of a chick, really?
Yeah, okay. It sounded like maybe he was talking too fast.
Okay.
Anyway,
so yeah, what are you bringing to the table here that changes anything?
Okay, so in this title, well, first of all, the problems in the West have nothing to do with monogamy or polygamy. It has nothing to do with that. It's the moral.
Okay, so then it's not good? Polygyny isn't good for the West then?
Well, when you're talking about saving the West.
Yeah, right? It's not going to save the West?
Well, monogamy hasn't saved the West.
Yeah, I'm asking you about polygyny. Don't change the topic. Don't change the subject.
I got you.
How is polygyny going to save the West? And what is your system bringing to the table?
Our version of polygyny
different than what we have right now. What?
Our version of marriage would absolutely save the West, because there would be no more whores or whoremongers in America.
No, that's not true. You can't. You just said you wouldn't enforce your system.
You just asked, how would my way of life of polygyny save the West? No. That's what you just asked me.
How could it do it without enforcement from the top down?
You got to add that part. You got to add the part of enforcement.
Yeah, it couldn't do it. It couldn't do it without enforcement.
Wait. So let me ask you a question, right?
No. Answer my question first.
Okay.
How is it that absent enforcement, you're bringing any fucking thing to the table for anything to do with the West? And literally everybody can do exactly what you're doing right now. They can just have sex with a chick.
Okay.
And then they're married as long as the chick agrees to it. Yeah. What is it that you are bringing that's change?
Okay. I want to ask you a question after I answer that. Fair enough? Okay. So now what I bring to the table is actual value to sex. The problem with America is they don't value sex. So I will go to the American government and say, why is OnlyFans allowed? Why is brothels and strip clubs?
That's force. That's allowed? Force, bro.
I would ask them
That's force. That's force.
So now I have a question for you.
No. That's force. Do you concede that that's force? You going to the government and saying you need to make sure OnlyFans isn't allowed is you advocating for force of your worldview? Yes?
Yes, I agree. So that's force.
Okay,
I agree with
then
that.
you
So can I
then
ask
you
you a
lied to me
question?
again when you
I did.
said, "No, I don't want the government to enforce my worldview." You do. You do.
No, I
don't
don't.
you?
I just
Then
agreed
then
with
how
you.
are they going to get rid of OnlyFans without force, bro? How?
I just agreed with you. So I can
Yeah,
ask
how
this.
are they going to get rid of OnlyFans without force, bro? How?
You just tell only if you just make it illegal. Oh, you can't say
Oh,
make
and
it
so
illegal
and what
because
happens? What
America does
happens if
everything.
people and what happens if people do something that's illegal?
You go to jail.
Oh, so then force. Got
Right.
it. So
That's.
you're saying that you want to use the
I'm
force
not
of the
saying I want to do
state.
that.
Yeah, yes, you
I
just
never
said
said I
it,
want
bro.
to do that.
You just said it
You asked a
twice.
question that said, "How would my
Sorry,
world?"
bro.
No,
That's the end of the
you.
debate. That's
No, it's
it.
not. No, it's
Yes, it
not.
is.
No,
You
it's
just
not.
did it to
No,
yourself. You
no,
did it
it's
to
not.
yourself. You
You
want to
just.
use force of the
I
government to
don't want to
enforce
use
your
force. No,
worldview.
I
That's
don't.
what you just
I don't
said.
even want to talk
Then,
to the government.
okay, then tell
All
me,
you've
how
done
is
in this
it that the government's going to get rid of OnlyFans again?
all you've done in your so-called interrogation of me is ask the weirdest Epstein Island questions ever. And then you want me
I
to
didn't
say
ask you
that,
anything about Epstein Island
and
once. You
then
just
you
lied
want
again.
me to
You just
say
lied
that I would
again.
force the government after I said I wouldn't go to the government. So in your hypothetical
You just
question,
contradicted yourself
in
again.
your
You said you would.
hypothetical question, I answered it. So I do have a question, just one
No, you
question
didn't
for you.
actually answer it. And so the thing is like,
I
here's
would
the thing
never
that's
go
so
to the
interesting.
government.
You're saying you said you again performative contradiction. Do you
No,
want
it's
to
not.
use force to impose your worldview using the government? No.
No.
I want the government to get rid of OnlyFans. That would be an imposition of your worldview using force.
The
And how
part
did
that
I
you
demonstrate
missing
that? Hang on.
is
How
that
did I
you
demonstrate
asked
that?
that
Hang on. How did I demonstrate that? I proved it by saying, how is it that they could get rid of OnlyFans without force? You said making it illegal. What happens to people do illegal things? They go to jail. That's force. That's the entailment of the position. You lost, sir. That's the end of that. Your
Okay, I just want to
imposition of your
respond.
worldview that you don't want to impose due to force is actually you wanting to impose your worldview by force. Do you
Okay, so
realize you
I just want
contradicted yourself?
to. Okay, I just want to respond, and then I want to ask
Okay.
you a question. My
Okay.
initial answer said I do not want to force the government to do anything, and then I said I prefer that the government lives according to God's laws, but I wouldn't force them. And then the same way you asked the hypothetical question about one of my wives
You're
unaliving a
about to finish the
child.
debate right now, I
No,
promise.
not
Go
why
ahead.
you interrupting.
No,
In
I
the
just
same,
want to show you. You're going to finish the debate right now. Go
the
ahead.
same
I'll show you.
way you asked a hypothetical question that never will happen about my wife, you asked another hypothetical question that never will happen.
The government
That's
can't
what
get rid
you
of
asked.
OnlyFans?
So now my question to you is,
Well, wait. Hang on. So then I'll follow up this last one then. Last one.
here's another
So then
hypothetical.
what is it if you're unwilling to use force for your worldview and approach the government for any top-down policies whatsoever? What is it that you're bringing to the table that we don't already have in this degenerate ass fucking West? What is it that you're bringing to the table since everybody can already do what you do? They already can. Is it just your position that you're just going to go educate the masses? You're just going to educate them into everyone they fuck? They then become married to them? Or did you have some teeth behind that? Did you have something you were going to legislate or move towards? Did you have something like that? Or is it just you're just going to go out and word salad them to death?
I'm actually great at what I do, and polygamous and monogamous people do anything they want right now.
That's
I
right.
will never enforce
And the
it.
West is still
I've
degenerate.
still got to get interrupted. Who's the child? I'm just
The
trying
West
to
is still
respond.
degenerate,
So
bro.
we'll play the game of talking over each other.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Cooley
ahead.
is
I
not
won't interrupt you.
saying.
I'll let you
Cooley
finish. I'll
ain't
let you
saying
finish. Go
Andrew
ahead.
stop.
Y'all got it. Y'all got it.
Funny, but go ahead.
Andrew yielded. Go ahead.
So now, I will never force the government to obey God because the government will never obey God. So your hypothetical question was answered, but it wasn't my answer. It's your hypothetical question. What I do is exactly what you said. It's what Christ did. Christ didn't force no government to follow him. He taught, and he was good at it. That's why the disciples did it. So I do the same exact thing. I teach to my people the value of sex, no force. And you know what? I'm good at it. So I don't have to force nobody. So now I have a question for you.
So now, hang on.
Hold on.
Just let you go. Just let you go. I'm just going to respond. I'm just going to respond. You can ask your question.
No problem.
So here's my response. Very simple, right? I asked you this question. What are you doing any different than what's already being practiced in the West? And you know what you just told me? Nothing. Nothing. You are not offering anybody anything new. The same shit. You're promising them that the government's going to continue to fuck them over, going to continue to enforce degeneracy. It's going to continue to do all these horrible things under your system because you ain't got the balls to use force. You ain't got the balls to make any legislative changes. Nothing. You're just going to speak them to death. The reason that just lost you the debate is because when you say polygyny in the West is what's going to save the West, we already have mass polygyny in the West. We already have the same shit. We have people banging everybody all over the fucking place. We already have that. It's not saving shit, right? And you are not offering anybody anything new. You're literally offering the status quo. You're offering them the status quo. You get exactly the same shit you've always gotten under your worldview. And that's why you, sir, and polygyny is not going to save the West. And neither are Hebrew Israelites. You got nothing to offer. Nothing.
Okay, so I'm going to ask my question after I respond to that. There's bullshit that he's saying about polygamy. Polygamy is something that is always kind of existed, but is low key. But monogamy in America has existed forever. So the downfall of the West is not polygamy. The downfall of the West is monogamy, the prostitution, and all the whole shit that y'all do. Y'all, when you say polygamy won't save the West, show me how. This is a hypothetical statement.
I will show you how.
It's not a question.
Yeah.
Monogamy never did anything because America didn't rule the West by monogamy.
Yes, it did.
America ruled the West by force because America still rules the West. Last I checked, America is still the #1 superpower unless you ask Israel. Because
the
Israel
West is dying. The West is dying. The West can't eat.
I didn't interrupt you the whole time you fucking talked. I let you fucking talk.
Okay. So well, you said
talk.
that.
I
okay, fine. But I get a response after this. Then I get a response after this.
Yeah, you get a response. Go ahead, Cap. It's yours. Go ahead.
I always got to cuss before I get my moderator Cooley to step in. So again, America is still a #1 fucking power, even though morally they're fucked up. So you can't blame that on polygamy because when monogamy existed, they was raping their wives. That's why it was raping their wives. That's why it only became in law in 1993. That's why when you go to post or pre-industrialism, you know why they was having more kids? Because they was raping the wives. Raping the wives, having sex with them, producing the kids, got the woman in the house, and then they let that white broad out. And that white broad said, I ain't never coming back. I ain't never coming back. I ain't having no more of your kids. I ain't doing none of that. So we can't act like monogamy or polygamy makes the West good or bad because the West is still great. Now, my question. My question.
No, I get a response.
Stop.
I get a response.
He gets a response.
No,
That's what we agreed
that's
to.
not fair.
You get the response.
He said
you just
literally just agreed to that.
I get a response. Yeah. So here's a response.
No.
It's really simple, right? I get a you'll get to your question after my response.
Real quick, both of y'all. Real quick. I'm just mute both of y'all real quick. Listen, Cap, he literally just walked it through like A to Z. Walked it through. You gave your little rebuttal, and now fair. Andrew gets a response. This is why he was like. This is why Andrew yielded. You get what I'm saying? So just let him get his responance, and then you can ask a question. I don't think Andrew Wilson is asking a question. He's just going to respond to all the things that you said. So
hold before Andrew goes. This has been this back and forth while I've been trying to ask this one question has gone on 4 times now. Every time he responds, and then I respond, and I say I want to ask a question afterwards. He says he got to respond. Can I ask the? Wait, listen.
No, that's not what happened. You're lying about the course of events. Yeah, I said I'll respond. I said I'll respond, and
I got you real quick, Andrew. Listen, this is real simple, Cap. Once Andrew responds, instead of you responding to Andrew, ask
That
your
shouldn't
question.
matter.
Just ask the question and you'll be good. So
but
it's
that's-
Andrew time to respond. After Andrew is finished, ask your question, Cap.
So, before he goes, if the criteria is I can't respond to what he says, I just have to ask my question, that has to be the same across the board. He can't respond to nothing I say. He got to ask his question. Go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, I don't have a question. So yeah, this is everything he just said was a lie. When he's talking about coverture laws, with the by the way, major feminist talking point, major black eye on the Hebrew Israelites on this one. Okay, you did go to jail for battering and abusing your wife. In fact, you weren't even allowed to step out. You weren't allowed to leave your wife. You weren't even allowed to do that because the state would enforce. The state would come in and be like, "Nah, man." They look up coverture laws. Any of you watching this, you can look them up for yourself, right? Men had an obligation. Women couldn't even go into debt. And by the way, just a few short years ago, we're talking only 60, 70 years ago, you're looking at, as far as monogamy goes, most men were marrying virgin women. They were marrying virgins on their wedding night. No, not kidding, right? The monogamy, as I showed you all of the various data, right? It's the most stable thing you can do for the American family. We've strayed away from that, and that's what's caused tons and tons of the problems with degeneracy. In fact, this guy's worldview is so degenerate, right? He's just saying, hey, if you bang a chick, you're married to her. Great. Well, how do you enforce that? We don't. We're just going to talk at them. Hey, did you know you're married? No, I'm not. The woman says, no, I'm not. That's the end of that. There's no enforcement mechanism whatsoever. He doesn't want the state to do anything. He doesn't want any movement in society towards anything new. How are you going to save the West when you just want the status quo? It's the same West. He wants the same West tomorrow that we have today, where everybody can do whatever they want, right? And you can, in their mind, they'll just say, hey, we're married as long as we have sex with a chick. We're married to him. You have sex with a chick, you're married to her. Those people say, no, we're not. You're out of your fucking mind. Go about their business. And that's business as usual. There's no enforcement of any of this. No legislative. They have no legislative plan for anything. They have no plan for anything. It's just more of the same shit. He's literally offering you more of the same. And when I ask him, how's that going to save the West? He doesn't know. He has no idea. He gave you nothing. He just said monogamy somehow was the better status quo than most men marrying virgins on their wedding night just, 60, 70, 80 years ago. Like, how's this even rational? None of this is even rational. And so, no, clearly monogamy is not going to save the West. They got no plan at all for anything. Nothing. It's just status quo.
Why? Y'all can hear me, right? Can y'all hear me? Okay. Yeah. Why do white people enjoy to force people to do things so much?
Well, wait a second. Everybody enjoys enforcing their worldview on everybody. That includes Asians, black people, Hispanics, whites, any race that you can point to has the state as a use of force. The state always has.
But I'm asking you, why do white people? Can you just answer my question directly?
It's not true. I reject it. I reject it as a loaded question.
Why? Well, when you say a loaded question, you just talk to me. You just talk to me about force so much that I agreed to answer your hypothetical question about force. You said defense was force. You said, don't I have to force my view? I said I wouldn't go to the government. You create a hypothetical. If I do go to the government, wouldn't it be force? And now when I ask you, why do white people enjoy to force people to do things so much? You say I'm being dishonest, and I'm not. I want to know. Because for the past 25 to 30 minutes, you have talked to me that we got to force. Even in your soliloquy that you just did, you said, I'm not going to force nobody to do anything, but you want to force. So why do white people enjoy forcing people to do things so much?
Yeah, so I'll answer the question.
And real quick, Andrew, right before you answer that, we're going to do 15 more minutes of open format discussions. And then right after the 15 minutes is up, we're going to go ahead and bring some people up to ask some questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's make this really easy. The reason that this is a loaded question is because it assumes It assumes that only why do white people, okay, why do black people enjoy murdering each other so much? I don't, you see how that's a loaded question? Not only that, let's point this out and we'll make this really simple. The objective reality of the world is that all states and all systems come down to use of force. And I don't care what system you have, it's going to come down to a use of force of men. It's always the case in every system you can point to in all historic standards everywhere on planet Earth at all times, without exception. The world objectively runs on force and enforcement. And the truth is if you're unwilling to utilize your worldview with enforcement, your worldview is worthless because people can just ignore you, walk about, do whatever they want. And all you can do is shake your finger at them and say, you shouldn't have done that. That's why. You know why? Because it works. Here's why white people like to do it so much. Because it works and it's sane. There you go. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, because it works and it's sane.
Now, is that in the Bible to do it by force?
Yes, the Bible points kings. Yes, divine kings. The right.
Show me where you have to enforce it by force.
Yeah, the state itself, including a monarchy, necessarily entails that you have to have force for any edict of the nation or the kingdom.
So now, how are you going to enforce your monogamy in the West?
This is great. You know what I would do? The same thing that we used to do, which is I would take over, try to at least, win every possible election to put people with my worldview in charge so that I would legislate that polygamy be outlawed. I would legislate that if you were going to do divorce, that would be governed by the church and not governed by the state. I would actually have enforcement arms and teeth behind what it was that I wanted to do, because, you know, I actually want to save the West. I don't want the status quo, right? You won't even petition the government to get rid of OnlyFans. That's how weak your position is. You won't even, because somehow that's going to benefit white people too much or something. That's like such a terrible position, dude.
And what are you doing to actually enforce it?
Well, so here's what you do.
No, so what are you doing?
Yeah. So what I do is I start at a cooperative level. So what I start with is this. We need to move into local jurisdictions and begin the process of taking over the arms of legislation to legislate your world.
You're doing that now?
Yes.
Can you give examples of that?
Can you point me somewhere I would like to see it? I talk with people all over the United States. Assist a guy named Rob Nora goes to multiple Republican conventions in order to place people in seats so that they can legislate. Yes.
And how successful are you?
I mean, Christian nationalism, I would say, is the most successful counterculture political apparatus which maybe has ever existed in our lifetime.
Say that one more time.
So I think it's pretty fucking successful. Yeah, I think it's pretty successful.
So in your worldview, polygamy would be illegal, right?
Yeah.
But isn't polygamy already illegal?
Polygyny. No, it's not.
Polygyny is not illegal?
No. Only at the state level.
But you know what okay, but when you say at the state level, you made a point to say, but wouldn't you have to get rid of marriage too?
From the state? Yes.
Yeah. So are you doing that too?
Yes.
Damn. So how successful are you? What cities you got that are doing it? How long have you been doing it?
Well, right now, Christian nationalism is in its form of ceding power. This means that right now they're moving towards gaining control in legislative branches. For a few years.
Let's say about 4 or 5.
Maybe 3.
Any headway?
Yeah, there's been headway.
Like where? Well, give me the county or something that's
I just told you, man. You can go to the Pennsylvania Republican Convention, which Rob Nor just went to. He works for me.
And it's law now in Pennsylvania that.
No, of course it's not law. I just told you. You have to start with the ceding of power first.
Why aren't you forcing them?
Bro, we're not talking about the utilization of forcing government,
but
taking over government to use force. We're talking about taking over government to use force.
You're not a real white man because you're not forcing your will, but you telling me I gotta force. Why are you not forcing?
I think you just have a fundamental misunderstanding of how power apparatuses work. Listen, what did I just tell you? Can you even repeat back what I just said?
You said
I don't know what this is. Pure coke laugh now.
Constituents here in Pennsylvania and this, but you ain't forced nothing. You just talking. So essentially, The same
Wait,
way
don't
said,
you?
I'm just
You want to get
talking.
people
The same-
seated so that
the
you can
same
affect
way-
political
the
change.
Same way that you said, I'm just talking.
No,
It's
you
the
are just
same
talking.
thing you're doing.
No, who
Yes,
are you
you
seating for power?
Show me you doing anything more than just talk.
Yes, I'll explain it to you.
It better be more than
I
just
have
talk.
a methodology, and thousands
better be
like me
more than
have a
talk.
methodology where we're trying to push people in positions of power
walked
who
it right
agree
down
with our
that body
worldview
bag.
for the purpose of
I walked
enforcement.
you
You're doing the opposite. You're
No, I'm
claiming
not.
you don't want anybody in a position of power
What are you
with
doing
your
to force
worldview.
besides talking?
Yeah, do you understand that
Show
you're
me the
utilizing
force.
the
Show me
apparatus
where you
for
for-
enforcement?
Show me where you forced anything.
Bro, if you have enough elected bodies, you then can
And
utilize
you
the
talk
force
to
of
him,
the
right?
state.
You didn't force them, right? You talked to
Oh
him,
my God,
right?
you're not. That's not the correct position. What you're saying here is you
You
refuse
said
to cede to the state
You
power.
said all I'm doing is
You're
talking. What it
refusing
look
to
like,
go to the
all you
states. You're
doing is
refusing
talking.
it.
Where's
Do you
your force
understand the
at? You ain't
difference,
forcing nothing. You a fake white man,
bro? Do
You're not
you
forcing
understand
nothing.
that you're? Yeah. Do you understand that you are refusing to engage at the state level for enforcement, and we're not? That's
And
the
you
distinction.
are, and you're not forcing nothing. You're going there to talk.
So,
Even the gays, when they wanted to change the DSM, when they wanted to change that DSM, they did that by force. The gays better than you.
They didn't force anybody
Yes, they
to do
did.
anything.
The
How do they do
gays
it by
are better than
force?
you. They
Let's
forced
try
that
this. Say, Cap,
DSM.
can you still man his position real quick, just so we all understand?
Hey, come on, Cooley. Come on, man.
No, no. I mean,
can you still man it?
just still man it. It's not an interference. It's
What a
because
still-
we
what a
want to create
still
some
man mean?
decorum,
What
and
a-
it's the back and forth.
what a still
So, in
man?
order to get rid of the back and forth,
Still
if
man.
you just still man his position,
How you spell?
I think that'll
steel,
help.
man. You saying steel?
Steel.
STEE or STEA?
L. Yeah, STEEL.
STEEL. Steel man. I don't know what that means.
Just summarize his position.
Instead of
Yeah, just
attacking
basically
a
repeat-
weaker
Yeah, repeat
version.
it. Yeah.
I'm not attacking nothing weaker. I'm the one that asked the questions.
No,
He
that's
said-
that's a
no,
straw
no.
man.
The steel man means a
Yeah, steel man.
persuasive technique where instead of attacking a weaker version of an opponent's argument, one constructs the strongest possible interpretation of that argument.
Yes.
So what this man said was that all I'm doing is talking. I'm not forcing anything, as if
No.
he was. And he's not forcing anything. He's talking just like me.
No.
He's taking
No,
his position of monogamy,
that's not the most
his position of marriage, his position, and he's going to talk to constituents. I'm taking my position of marriage, my position of sex, and I'm going to talk to my people. We're doing the exact same thing. Neither one of us is doing it by force. But he made it seem like my teaching is a bad thing, but him talking is a good thing.
That was actually a straw man, not a steel man.
That's not a
But
straw.
I'll
you gotta make up your mind.
I'll give you the steel man, the most charitable version of your position I can possibly think of. You think that Andrew Wilson's doing the exact same thing that you're doing. I'm just talking to people, right, in order to convince them of my worldview, that we're doing the exact same thing, that we're both. But here's the problem. That's a steel man. The problem you had with my steel man is we're not, though. Because when I asked you, would you try to move your ideology to the ruling apparatus, the state apparatus? Multiple times you said no, 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 no. I refuse to do that. We're not doing the same thing. The idea that I can move people into positions, or at least assist with moving people in positions, or in some way help moving people into positions of authority and power in the state in order to implement my worldview via enforcement, is the distinction between the two of us. Not whether or not we both do the things we're doing via us talking, but what the outcome of what it is we're trying to do actually is. I'm trying to present a view which people can get behind to affect real change. You are trying to affect a view of the status quo liberal elite of do as thou wilt, as long as you don't hurt anybody else, because you refuse to utilize government power for the implementation of ideology.
So here's why it's not a steel man or straw man, but they're addressing him directly. The only difference he and I have is the agenda. His agenda is at the government level. My agenda is at my people level. There is no such thing as do what thou wilt. That's white folks stuff. Like white people say that. That's a white man that came up that term, do what thou wilt. The Bible says, do what God say, thus saith the Lord. So I teach my people, thus saith the Lord. So it's not a straw man or a steel man, because I'm pointing out that I'm not forcing anybody and he's not forcing anybody. His agenda is just different than mine. I don't care. The reason why I took this debate, the title of the debate is not just the West. The title of this debate is can polygyny save the West? Is it a sin? It being a sin means we talk about the Bible. So my lens is a biblical lens. His lens can be the West lens, and that's fine. So even on his lens of the West, he still ain't doing nothing by force. He just talking. In my lens, I'm talking. So now the only thing we can measure success or failure is if he shows where his talking is moving weight in the West and where I show my talking is moving weight amongst my people. That's the only thing you can do.
So to give a response to this, he's right in one sense that it's the ideological difference for outcome. Remember what we're debating here. Is polygyny going to save the West? Right?
That ain't the only part of the title. That's two titles.
We went through all the did I interrupt you? We went through all of the biblical stuff there, right? We're also on the topic of can polygyny save the West? And in this particular case, he has not made any case for how it can in any way, shape, or form.
That's a lie.
In fact, I didn't interrupt you.
That's a lie,
what he has done is he has said, we, the Hebrew Israelites, are a bunch of status quo people, right? We want the status quo. We want everything to keep going exactly how it is, because for us to petition the government to even do anything as small as regulating off the internet OnlyFans would require them to use force, and so that would be bad. That's what this gentleman said. No, we're not after the same aims. We're not after the same ends. He's a normal, progressive status quo using feminist talking points. Nonsense is what you hear here. Just nonsensical prattle. The reason that he wants to stay inside of the these minute questions, the minutia questions, is because the second we apply this worldview to the actual West, the whole thing falls apart. Inside his worldview, he can't even justify utilizing state force to enforce the things he believes are moral. How fucking insane is that? And so here Andrew Wilson says, no, I think that I do have a moral system called Christianity, which doesn't force morality and has all sorts of ecclesiology behind it, so that we can move in government for the enforcement of our will and the enforcement of the things that we want. He says, and his response to this was, well, that might benefit white people too much and hurt minorities too much. By the way, another liberal progressive talking point, another feminist talking point. I'm really surprised. I thought the Hebrew Israelites were supposed to be these awesome savages. It turns out they're a bunch of fucking progressive feminists, and they're too afraid to even use the state apparatus to enforce the things they consider moral. That's fucking crazy. He says, well, wait a second, Andrew. Were kings allowed to do that? Yes, they were, sir. Yes, they were. Yes, divine kings definitely made edicts, and they definitely used force in order to enforce their fucking edicts. Yes, they did. And so, like, the whole worldview just fell apart. He can't save you from shit.
I didn't say the words that he said, and he lied. I said, I want the government to be under God. I'm just not going to do it by force. That's what I said.
And real quick, Cap, before you finish, we just hit the 15-minute mark, so I'll let you fully go ahead and finish your statement, and then we'll do closing.
I can do it in my closing.
So you have a okay, cool. You can do it in your closing. So 4 minutes maximum.
It's not me. He closes out first.
Okay, so you're done with your response.
Yeah, I could put it in my 4 minute close.
You can respond and then and then I'll do the close. You can do your last close if you want. That's fair, right?
Yeah,
okay, no problem.
Yeah, you can fully respond if you want.
Okay, yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, so Andrew lied. I never said I didn't want to do anything with the government. That's just not my primary agenda, because I think the West is a piece of shit. I think America has no morality, have never had any morality. And so that's my position as far as that goes. So my agenda as far as this debate was titled, can polygyny save the West? Is it a sin? Polygyny can save the West, but proper education on what sex is. Even Andrew admitted that he doesn't agree with the paper marriage. He agrees with some ecclesiastical church marriage, which the Christian church as a whole doesn't even hold. They don't hold the people to the fire. They don't hold anybody. All them questions he asked me, if the woman that unalives that baby can still be a Christian. The man that's having all that sex can still be a Christian. That OnlyFans can still be a Christian. So none of that ecclesiastical nonsense is going to work because all of that is accepted in Christianity. But if you have proper education on what sex is, polygyny and monogamy can actually exist. That's what we offer as Israelites. The feminist stuff sounds good, but it's not my fault that white men was beating the shit out of white women and then they wanted to escape y'all whooping their ass. That's not my fault. The term wife beater is because y'all was beating their ass. Black people didn't invent that term. Anybody look up wife beater? It's a white man that had a wife beater shirt on for beating the shit out of his woman. And when I said that grape was lawful until 1993, he tried to flip it and say, you can't beat your woman. I never said nothing about beating your woman, but you could lawfully grape your woman, and they didn't put it into legislation until 93. So the monogamous lifestyle of America said you can grape your woman. Let that sizzle in your spirit. So I'll land right there. I'll put the rest in my 4-minute close.
Okay,
ready
cool.
for closings?
Yep, ready for closings. Andrew, you can start now.
Yeah, all feminist talking points, every single one of them. The idea that you could just rape your woman whenever you felt like it, he's using what's called a word concept fallacy. Just because you weren't prosecuted under the exact term rape or sexual assault doesn't mean that that was legal to do. Do you realize that crimes can shift definitionally to what it is that we're talking about? When you did spousal abuse, which is what grape would have fallen under, you did go to jail. You went to jail for battery and things like this. And by the way, the things which disproportionately affect the Black community when it comes to domestic violence laws all came out of these feminists claiming the same thing this lunatic is, which is that, oh, there's too much marital rape. Women need to have extra additional laws, even though all the laws of battery and everything else already applied, right? They needed to have extra protections. And now you see a domestic dispute in a Black community, someone's going to jail. They're going to jail every single time. Thank you, feminist. Thank you, Hebrew Israelite, with your feminist talking points, because that's what led us right here, right? You guys and your stupid ass ideology is what leads us to these things. You don't even understand what you're talking about. You don't know the history of feminism. You don't know the history of these things at all. You need to understand how coverture works. That's one. Two, he's a contradiction machine. My opponent's a literal contradiction machine. I don't know how many contradictions I caught him in, but man, it was an overwhelming amount. Remember, a contradiction is just P and not P. He said, no, we can't enforce with the state. No, we can enforce with the state. No, you can only get divorced if it's, your wife is fornicating with someone else. No, you can actually get divorced if they murder people too, or if they commit fraud or any of these other things, right? He contradicts himself constantly. This is a guy. So, and by the way, I've seen this type of tactic before when they're filibuster machines, right? So what they want to do is they want to filibuster each and every logic tree so that you move down their logic tree and you can't give a response. The second we're out of the filibuster zone, right? He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. He has carefully memorized a few Hebrew talking points, a Black Hebrew talking or whatever, Hebrew Israelite talking points when it came to various biblical dialogues, right? But unfortunately, when he's outside of this realm of any of these memorized, roted dialogues, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't understand how force doctrine works. He doesn't understand how enforcement works. He doesn't understand he's offering the progressive mantra of more of the same. He's saying right now it's the most degenerate place we've ever been, but I refuse to use any sort of state force, get my ideology through. He contradicted himself multitudes of times on that. He went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Right? Contradiction machine. And you know what else he never demonstrated? Not one time. How monogamy was going to do a damn thing to assist with the West, how it was going to do a damn thing to do anything for the West at all. Right? In fact, he says, I want a system of monogamy and polygyny. Right? I want polygyny and monogamy. I want both things. right? So he can't even make up his mind on what his own system is. The whole thing is a farce. These guys have no idea what they're talking about. And when we get to real world application of what it is they want to do, guess what it is? Nothing. They don't want to do anything. They want the status quo, ladies and gentlemen. He wouldn't even go to have the government do anything about OnlyFans under his view. He said it. It's on record. Go look at it yourself. What he said is, nope, I'm not going to use government force for that. Right? Okay, got it. 30 seconds. So I'm not going to use government force for it. And it's like, yeah, so how are we going to implement any of these moral laws? How are we even going to do that? Well, according to him, we're not. Right? What he's going to do is continue to stay online and debate about particulars about whether or not Joseph impregnated Mary or not, even though the entirety of the church, going all the way back to the original church, says that wasn't the case. Right? It's all phony baloney nonsense. And what I didn't know was that these guys were all just progressive feminists. But now we know.
All right. He went 10 seconds over. So, Cap, I'll give you 10 seconds over as well. The floor is yours.
I appreciate it. We definitely know that Andrew likes the great women and supports it and condones it. It's not a feminist talking a point to say that you're against great. It's just natural. If my daughter was great by anybody, I'm a man that would actually protect and avenge my daughter from being great. It's insanity that you got to be a feminist to be against great. But when you support his ideology and you can grape and beat women, that's what they'll believe. That's how you know that lifestyle is not conducive. Because what woman wants to be great? I mean, I'm not into feminism. Women thinking they empower because they got these jobs and XYZ like that. You are always under me. You are always under a man. That's just how it is. Secondly, when it comes to is it a sin? He was clearly beat the hell out of. He has no idea or concept with the Bible. So the only person that could actually live in two environments in this debate was me. He could not live in the Bible. And then even in his worldview, he tried to say that I'm wrong for teaching to try to get my people to change, but then admits that his forced doctrine is the exact same thing. His forced doctrine is not to take anybody by the hand and force them to accept it, but to go to his constituents and talk to them and convince them with his mouth. No different than me. When I said polygamy and monogamy, I also said the education of what sex is. Why is that important? America has no value on sex whatsoever. That piece of paper don't make you married. He admitted that. So if the piece of paper don't make you married and his ecclesiastical doctrine does, why ain't that enforced? Why ain't, you notice as he's saying he going to the Western governments, he didn't go to the church to say why ain't the church enforcing that? Why? Because the church supports lesbianism, homosexuality, gay marriage, child molestation. So he has no church to go to. He has nowhere to go to. So he has to go talk to a couple of his buddies. They probably be sitting, have a round table like, yeah, man, I'm tired of these women. We need to go back to days where we can grape them. That's about as far as it goes. So this was a good dialogue, though. Andrew is a good, debater. He lost, pretty bad on both subjects. Once you can accuse me of something, but then admit that you're doing the same exact thing that you thought you was making fun of me, you actually lost because he has no work behind his words. I would love for him to show it, whereas I do. So we don't sit around trying to have just debates about virgin birth and stuff like that. We actually go out into Black communities and teach them the value of family. Why we got to teach them the value of family? Because if we live under the West, we don't have no family. The white family is destroyed, and so is ours. So we have to teach them the opposite. So we educate our people across the board. With that, I'll land.
All right. Thank you for your closing, both of you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read.
I do,
Sure.
Cooley. And I do appreciate very quickly my debate partner here. That was a fun debate, and I'm open to doing another one with you in the future on other topics. If you'd like.
Likewise.
I have no ill will towards you at all.
Likewise.
No matter how spirited these things get, I understand you keep this shit in the arena, and that's where it stays. So
I agree
you're never
with
going to be under any threat of my audience harassing and nothing like that. We just don't play that shit here. So I wanted to say that, and I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day. Cooley, I do have the reason I had to reschedule this for today instead of tomorrow, which I wanted to tell you I appreciated you taking the time to do that, is because I have a drive out to Chicago. I'm doing a large-scale debate out there. So I do have to leave a little bit early tonight. I hope you guys will forgive me for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe we can catch it up another time. Huh?
If I can extend the same thing, I'm the same way. Like when you're in debate mode, you're supposed to try to obliterate the other person. But when the debate is over, I ain't gonna see if I was ever see you or something like. I don't have to do all of that. So I'm the same.
Just it would just hopefully be a handshake. I can be the white devil after I leave. I can be the white devil after I leave. But anyway, I did appreciate it, and I never have any ill will for these things.
Yeah, and I would definitely do a round two.
I am gonna send a raid over to your channel if you're gonna maybe do something a little after. I think I got pretty close to 8,000 live on my end.
Cool.
So happy to do it, and thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Hey, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you.
All right, no problem. And Cooley, if Andrew's going to bail, I'll skip this for a little bit. Maybe
cool. You're willing to
take
stay.
like 2 questions or something like that, and then I'll roll
cool.
out.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
I think it would be biased to stay if Andrew is gone. So maybe I'll take 2, and then
fair enough. Let me go ahead and switch this, put it over here. And so I just want to read this. So pretty much the super chats that I'm reading tonight, ladies and gents, is going to be the super chats that's over $10. And then we already got some people backstage. Looks like they sent in. I'm going to try to verify as much of them as I can. But yeah, so let's go ahead. So we got Corey Love says in $10. Can you ask the brother if sex equals marriage to explain Deuteronomy 22 verses 28 through 29? It appears to be 2 separate things to me.
Wait, say that one more time for Gizzy. Was that something for me to respond to?
Yeah, this would be this would be for Andrew, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, let's continue on. We got Corey Love again. He says, if sex equals marriage, ask the brother if he only wives up pure women, because would not those new women be another man's wife if they've had sex before him?
So when you come into the truth, you are what's called born again. So when a brother comes into the truth, if he doesn't have a woman, he's single. He's never been with a woman. If a sister comes into the truth and she's not with a man, she's single. She's never been with a woman. You start your life over. So the next man that the woman lay with, that's who she would actually be married to. That's how that works.
Fair. And actually, his first question was to you. Remember, you said that sex equals marriage. Right. So he's essentially saying that, can you ask the brother if sex equals marriage to explain Deuteronomy 22 verses 28 through 29? Because he's saying that it appears to be 2 separate things to him.
So Deuteronomy 22 and 28 pairs
28 through 29, yeah.
Right. So Deuteronomy 22, 28 pairs with Exodus 22 and 16. So I'm going to read both the verses. It says, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, verse 29, then that man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. So now I'm going to read Exodus 22 and 16 and then answer. It says, if a man entice a maid, which is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. And so what that does is, the normal way would be go to the father first. But if you entice that woman and lay with her, you still have to pay the dowry to the father. So that's what Deuteronomy 22, 28, and 29 is referring to. And that's what Exodus 22 and 16 is referring to. They're saying the same exact thing.
Okay. Then Rachel Wilson says, sends in $10. Appreciate the support. She says, I have a question for the Hebrew fella. Okay. Then I just want to get through the chats that's the same. Let me see here. Okay. All right, so we're going to be bringing up, okay, Rachel Wilson is backstage. All right, so Rachel Wilson, I'll bring you up in a second. And we got some more people backstage as well. But let me get through some of these chats. We also have here, No Control says in $10, says Andrew Wilson's mods are blocking black comments and letting racist Neanderthals spew filth. Okay.
That person must have gave a good super chat or something.
I don't think I can't verify that. You know, we over here on No Fugazi, I can't verify that. But as far as me knowing the Crucible crew, I don't think that they're doing that. We got I'm a hunter since in $10. Bible clear as water here. He must not take many wives, or his heart will be led astray. He must not accumulate large amounts of silver and gold. Deuteronomy 7:17.
Right.
Yeah.
She wants me to explain that, or
no, I guess
okay,
it was
just
reading it. Yep.
Okay.
We got Jeremiah Cook says in $10. Tazaryach, according to Genesis 1 verses 24, one man and one woman became one flesh. That is the earliest standard for marriage. Why do you force your lust upon holy scripture and say you follow the law?
Well, actually, it's not Genesis 1 and 24. It's Genesis 2 and 24. And that's not the first account where they're told to have intimacy. In Genesis 1 and 27, when it says, and so God created man in his image, and the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. This is when mankind was actually created. Verse 28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. How do you be fruitful and multiply? By sexual intercourse, and replenish the earth and subdue it. In Genesis, the 2nd chapter, Adam was already alive. Eve didn't physically come from his rib. Eve was a family member, someone from his tribe. That's why it says flesh and bone, which is what Jacob said, which is what the nation of Israel said.
Okay. We got Corey Love again says in $10. There are also provisions for divorcing your wife for any reason, but is it good faith and honor to the Most High to make an idol out of a provision when we know God's intent for marriage? It's a question for you.
I didn't understand it. Can you say it again?
Okay, so essentially he's saying that there are also provisions for divorcing your wife. For any provisions for divorcing your wife for any reason.
Right.
But then he says, is it good faith and honor to the Most High to make an idol of a provision when we know God's intent for marriage?
Yeah, that's the whole point of Christ. When Christ said, because of the hardness of your heart, Moses wrote that, but from the beginning it was not so. Because what they were doing was doing for any reason. When Moses wrote uncleanness. So if you find uncleanness, it should have been something unlawful, not she ain't make your dinner, or she ain't having sex, or she ain't doing this. That wasn't the reason for it. So Christ gave the actual correct understanding of what that uncleanness meant, which was adultery or fornication.
All right, fair enough. All right, and let me go ahead and bring up Rachel Wilson, since she sent in 2 chats, and she has to come up. This would be Andrew Wilson's wife, if you don't know, Captain Tazaryach.
No, I didn't know.
Okay. Hey, Andrew, Rachel Wilson, welcome to the chat. Can you hear me?
Me?
I think I can hear you good. Can you say something again?
Check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay, great. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off my headphones just to make sure they don't try to reconnect, because I think that's what the issue was. Okay, so first, I just wanted to address the absolute lie that the wife beater thing came from white men, because the CDC says that the rate of intimate partner violence is actually almost twice as high among blacks as it is among whites. It's a general rate of about 5.7% of the population for whites and about 9.2% for blacks. 44% of black women compared to 35% of white women, saying that they're victims of domestic violence. So this idea that it's a white guy thing, totally false. But I do have a question for Captain Wakanda here. Do you like playing Russian roulette?
No.
Are you a big fan of taking big risks?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious, because if you want to have multiple wives, and I'm guessing you want them all to be black, since you seem to be a bit of a black supremacist, but I didn't know if you were aware that black women in America have 6 times higher the rate of herpes, 5 times higher the rate of chlamydia, 7 times higher the rate of gonorrhea, 8.5 times higher the rate of syphilis, and 10 times higher rate of HIV than white women. So if you're going to have multiple black wives, woo, those are rough odds.
Well, what I would prefer, like, listening is an art. And when I talked about the wife beater, anybody can look that up. The term wife beater for white tank top originated in its association with negative stereotype of abusive men. And it was a white man in 1947 that it came from. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with
Don't interrupt me, please. I didn't interrupt you the whole time you talk. You call me a black supremacist, because I'm not a black supremacist, because I'm not just about black people. I'm about my Latino people, Native Indian people. There's a lot of people that I love. So please don't call me a black
just
supremacist. Once again,
white people, right?
Listen, if you can't be quiet, I would just respectfully ask Cooley to remove you. I didn't interrupt you one time when you talk. I see why Andrew is your husband, because both of y'all can't shut the fuck up. Thank you. So, as I was saying, the term wife beater, which I said, originated from a white man. That was my talking point. I didn't say only white men beat women. I would never say nothing that stupid. But stupid people would believe that I said that. And then when you talk about, once again, hey, Cooley, I'm cool, because I don't want to talk to Andrew's wife disrespectful. So if you could just remove her, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
I mean, I think you guys pretty much hashed it out. I think you hashed it out.
See how she keeps interrupting me?
White women are running from their white husbands.
I could be disrespectful to this white woman, but Cooley, I asked
Cap, I got you. I was just speaking. I
don't want to talk to her.
I'm trying to create some decorum right now. What I did was, both of you attacked one another, so I kind of let you guys hash it out. I let you guys hash it out. You know what I'm saying? It seems that it was hashed out.
Cooley,
you want to continue on, or you want me to take her off? Because you're on. Okay, cool.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Rachel Wilson, gotta let you go, but thank you for your support. I do appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Cooley.
Got this man's wife up here, man.
Okay, so let me go ahead and
Andrew just said we gonna be cordial. She get up here and call me a black supremacist and shit, man. Like, come on.
Let me go ahead and bring up some more supporters, because we got some members in here too, which already seen some of their chats. You'll take 2 more? Okay, cool. So I'll prioritize getting the people up, and then I'll read through the chats afterwards. Okay, let's go with who we got up here. Lord Giatron, welcome to No Fugazi Podcast, man. What questions you got? Is your audio on? I can't hear you, man. Try to remove yourself from the stream, like exit it out, then come back in. I'll bring you up. Let me get someone else up here real quick. All right, we got Uncle Tyga. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. Tyga, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask
Tyga, real quick, your audio is low. Is it any way where you can?
You can't hear me?
I could hear you. It's just low. That's all it is. I'll turn you up from my end, but go ahead. I'll turn you up from my end.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask one question. Why is it that you postulate that it's only white people who are capable of forceful violence?
Now, I didn't say that they only did it. I didn't. Well, let me rephrase. I never said that they're the only ones capable of it. I didn't say that.
Okay, well, you made the claim that's what your people do, as in
Right.
referencing like.
Yeah, I made that in reference to white people are in charge of the governmental laws, and they didn't make grape illegal until 1993. And so when I was saying that's your people,
Make grape
my
illegal
people,
until
my
1993.
yeah, grape of a wife. Yeah, grape of a wife is not illegal until 1993. So when I said your people, I'm saying your people in regards to that law. Could a black man do that to his wife? Yes. I never said a black man couldn't. I'm just talking about when it comes to that law, they was graping their wives and they did not go to jail for it.
Yeah, so that's just completely false. But
What's false?
yeah, because you can't just say okay.
No,
Where
I'm
are
just
your stats
you
on
just
that? Because
clarify when you
that's the
say
most
what's
ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
no, when you say what's
Hmm?
false, what's false?
Okay, because it wasn't. They didn't explicitly use the word grape, right? Doesn't mean that that's not what they were being prosecuted for. They, like Andrew already pointed out, like they would be prosecuted for battery and these
But
other
show me.
things, and
Can
that
you
would be
show me
grounds
where they
for
was
divorce,
prosecuted for
and they
graping?
would be jailed for this.
Can you show
That's
me where they
always
was
been a thing.
prosecuted for graping? Because here's the thing
Just
for
because
me.
they
If you
didn't
gotta actually
explicitly
create a
use the
law
word
for it,
grape
if
in
you
law doesn't mean that the law wasn't enforced.
if you gotta actually create a law for it, then that means that they was doing that. That's why they create the law for it. Right?
No, that's a word concept fallacy.
It's not a word concept.
Yeah, it is.
What it wasn't a law before night. So why was it made a law?
It was a law. They just didn't
Why
explicitly
was
use
it
the word
made
grape.
a law?
It was already a prosecutable offense, right? It was under
Marital
the
rape in the
category
United
of
States of
assault and
America.
battery.
I'm just gonna read it. The marital United States of America refer to the wait a minute. I'm sorry. Prior to the 1970s, marital rape was legal in every U.S. state. That's what it says. Legal. Come on, man. It's legal. It's legal. We can write
Yeah,
that
so you
law.
don't think that if a woman were to file a police report and say my husband raped me, that they wouldn't prosecute him, arrest him, and prosecute him for assault and battery?
So, like, you going to anecdotal evidence is cool. I'm just talking about the law
That's not
itself.
anecdotal.
Wait. Anecdotal evidence, if you was to show me the one or two people that was prosecuted, that's anecdotal. But the law, the fact that it says it was legal to do, that's your people that wrote it. We didn't write that law. We didn't say it was legal.
What do you mean, your people, sir?
Right? Like the Constitution, the laws, we don't write laws. We follow laws. When I'm saying we, talk about like blacks and Latinos, we're not making those laws. Y'all making those laws. So if it was legal, that's you white folk that did it.
Hey, Tyga,
right,
I'll leave you with one more question. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, just one more, and I won't take any more time. Okay, just let me ask one more question. So, Andrew asked you this, and you didn't actually answer. You just said my people would never do that, which is absurd. But I'm just going to ask you again.
Yeah, I mean,
if a man were to force himself upon a woman, does that make her his wife now?
No, I actually answered that question. I said, when you go back and listen, I said you said what?
Okay, go ahead, answer it again.
No, hey, be quiet. I'm answering if you stop interrupting. So now, what I said then and what I said now, grape is unlawful in the Bible. So you cannot do that, and then that's still your woman. No, you can't. You see how clean that is? But up until 1970, you can grape your wife. It was legal. See the difference between God's laws and the white man's laws? That's why God's laws are better than the white man's laws.
Okay. All right. That's all I had. That's all I had.
Okay.
I bet.
Appreciate
for
the
having me
support,
up.
Uncle Tiger. Appreciate the support, man. Have a
All
blessed
right,
one.
one
Peace.
more, Cooley, and then that's it.
All right, cool. I'll
All
get
right.
one more up for you. Looks like, and then I see all the super chats. I'm gonna go ahead and get through the super chats as well. I got you. Do you mind staying for some of the super chats just to answer some of the questions, or no?
Yeah, no, because you just
Okay.
you saying you're gonna read them and you want me to answer.
I would just read them.
Okay.
Yeah, and some
All
of them may be to you, and you can just answer them. But I'll
Okay.
get one more person up.
All right, no sweat.
All right, cool. Okay. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. Can I hear you? Speak for me. I can't hear you. All right. Well, let's try another one real quick. We got Glenn Lawrence. Glenn Lawrence, welcome to No Fugazi Podcast.
you doing?
The floor is yours.
Yeah, so a couple questions. I didn't get the definitive answer how he thought the West would be saved by polygyny. Like, was there? Do you believe that, like, yes, it can be saved by polygyny? Like, polygyny changes.
My answer wasn't as simple as just polygyny. My answer was yes for polygyny, but sex education would have to be a part of that.
Okay, well, I believe that sex education is good. I think that that wouldn't be a good solution, because I think the problem with both of it is no lack of good patriarchy.
When you say lack of,
So, I mean, regardless if you have monogamy or polygyny, if you don't have good patriarchs running the home,
I agree.
Neither one of them are going to be successful.
But I actually agree with that. So when I'm saying education, I'm talking about education on what it means to be the patriarch as well. So like, we don't teach men to just go out. You gotta let me finish, dude. You gotta let me finish, because if you talking, I'm talking. I'm not even hearing what you're saying. You just sound like. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you can't. We don't teach that men. Hey, just go out there and start sleeping with a bunch of women. We teach that you the head of that woman. Like, that's what the Bible says. The Bible says the head of every woman is the man. So being the head of her is how you establish the patriarchy. So you have to actually court a woman before you can actually lay with her. And once you establish that, then you can lay with another woman. But you're learning how to actually be in charge of that woman to establish your authority over that woman, because you are her authority. You are her boss. But I do agree. That's why you heard me say polygamy and monogamy needs that type of education, because we don't have that now. It's just sex, and that's it.
Do you think it's kind of like misleading or confusing when you said we need sex education, right? And then we need polygyny, but sex education has nothing to do with teaching them how to be a patriarch.
Sex education, right? At the surface level, just sounds like you take your rod, put it in a woman. That's your wife. That's what it sounds. That's what people hear. Even when we say sex is marriage, that's what they hear. And we say that sometimes for the shock value of it, because it's like, how could you say that? But the education comes from, you have to stay with that woman. You have to stay with that man. That forces a man to think twice. So like, let's say if there's a woman out there, she got a big booty, big breasts, flat booty, big breast, whatever type of woman you like, but she's an absolute monster. In this society, you will hustle her out of her drawers, because in your mind, all you're thinking about is, I want to sleep with her. In our society, which would lead to patriarchy, if you're not going to keep her, be in charge of her, correct her, do those things, then you can't and should not have sex with her, because of the responsibility that comes with it. Patriarchy can only come with you learning your responsibility, you knowing your role as a man. It's not a woman's job to teach you how to be a man. A man has to teach you how to be a man. And when you learn that, you'll be able to rule not only over women, because patriarchal society is not just about who you're having sex with. You can have one wife, you can have no wife, and still be patriarch, meaning being in charge.
Society means father-led, man-ruled, basically, right? But I think we have, like, we're always going to have a patriarch. a patriarchal society. It's determining whether it's going to be a good one or a bad one is the problem.
Yeah, but
So
I was just
I mean,
going to
even
say, but mandating either or as law is dangerous because you're forcing, like, relationships aren't a monolith. You got some brothers that's just content with one woman. And if you're content with that woman, I shouldn't come around you and say, hey, man, get you 4 women, get you 5 women. And then you got some that want more than one, and the brother that only wants one, shouldn't come to me and say, nah, you shouldn't do that. That's the issue.
I got a quick question, though, in regards to what you said. So, Cap, when do you think that it's necessary to use force, to make law, to create order, anything like that?
When it comes to marriage?
Well, when it comes to exactly what we're speaking about. When it comes to it could be it could be marriage, it could be pretty much anything. Do you ever think it's necessary to use force?
So in our school, right, we have a 1-year rule in our school. So this could be an example of force. So in our school, let's say Cooley comes into our school, get right, you know what I mean? He ain't biased with his moderation no more or anything like that. That's a little joke. But so Cooley comes into the school. When he comes into the school, let's say he sees a woman. That woman is off limits for 6 months. You can't even talk to her, even if you desire it. So that's a form of force. Why? Because we have to get you to change your mind state, to understand what marriage is, to understand what being an Israelite is, your role. After 6 months, if you have a desire to her, you come to me. Let's say if I'm the guy in charge, you come to me and say, I want to court Danielle. I say, okay, y'all can court. Now, for the next 6 months, all y'all can do is court. No touching, no kissing. If you go out on a date or something like that, you have to ask permission to do so. So now that's another.
And what if they don't adhere to this, though? That's the thing. What if they don't adhere to these guidelines?
Yeah, there's a penalty for that.
And the penalty, would you have to then? Are you ever going to use force, physical force? The other part you said is like influence. Like if you're teaching like someone,
beating them or something.
Anything to force them, because one of the things,
like, you can get suspended, you can get like this discipline like that. Physical, hands-on, we don't do that. But there's other forms of discipline that we do.
I have a question about that. You said so they'll come to your church, right, and they ask you
school,
right?
Not church.
School. Sorry, forgive me. Come to your school to ask you to court the woman, right? When did you isn't that superseding the father's role? Are you not then robbing the fathers of his patriarchal position in the household? Because you may approve of him dating her, but that's his daughter, and he may not approve of that. He may not like that idea.
Because, and that's a good question to ask. Because let's say, oh, there you go, I found it. So let's say if there's a situation where she has a father, we'll talk to the father. We don't have a problem. Like brothers, will actually go to the father and say, hey, I want to court your daughter. We would not take that power away from brothers. Have went to uncles. Let's say if they don't have the father in their life, they went to the uncle or to the brother. So you can do that too.
Okay. I was just saying because that's not what you claimed in the answer.
Well, I was just running the rules down, but that caveat that you add, I just didn't cover that part. That's why I said that was a good question.
Okay. And just the last thing, I'm not trying to debate you. I'm just trying to understand with some of these questions, because you said that you are in favor of the patriarchy, right? So if you are in favor of the patriarchy, men lead, they should be at the helms of leadership and stuff like that.
I'm boss of all my women, all of them.
Okay.
I own them.
But if you never utilize force, then you're essentially equal to the woman.
How?
On a physical standpoint. Because the difference that makes...
Man, y'all scared me.
Well, you said how? Well, one of the differences of men and women is that men, we have the monopoly on force. You know what I mean? We're physically stronger. So that's what makes
we're mentally stronger too.
A man.
Would you say we're mentally stronger too?
That would be one of them, but I mean,
let me explain
statistically,
what I mean by that. You know how mentally strong a man has to be to walk up to a woman that has lived in a society where it's one man, one woman, and then here I come and I say, "You gonna be my wife. I got 5 other wives. I got 7 other wives, and you gonna be number 8." You know how mentally strong you got to be to get them to do that.
Got it. So then you would say that you would then utilize the influence over force then.
No,
mentally?
if you want,
Influence is
if
powerful
you want to
too.
call it
Influence is powerful.
if you want to call it influence, that's fine. But my point is to
Okay.
show men are not only physical, we're mentally, spiritually, we're stronger than them in every way.
I get that. But one of the things that's really different, because there are some women that's smarter than men that have higher IQ than men, but it could be a lot of them. Even if you look at the bell curve of IQ, men are at the higher end of the bell curve with the highest IQ, but then we're also at the lower end, the opposite end of the bell curve with the lowest and the highest IQ. And then women and men, from a general standpoint, we kind of hover around with the same IQ. One of the things that we do have a monopoly on, though, is force. But you're saying that you wouldn't want to utilize force; you would more so utilize influence. Okay, that's just a question that I had. Glenn, any last questions?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Do you believe biblically that polygyny can be practiced today in America?
Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Okay. So do you believe that, biblically speaking, polygyny can be practiced today in America?
I think it's already practiced. It's just not
I'm
practiced
asking
properly.
if it is already practiced, but I mean, I'm asking you if it, biblically speaking, should it be if you're a believer of God, a believer of Christ?
Yes.
Okay. Can you?
But the thing with that, and why my brain, and the one thing me and Andrew did agree on, when it comes to America, as far as the government goes, like even in the Bible, the priests didn't control the marriage. The king didn't control the marriage. The husband and wife controlled the marriage. The husband controlled his marriages. So it wasn't like this super duper mandate. The only rules you see in place is if you get another wife, you can't reduce the existing wives. If you have a son by the wife you hate, you can't take away. So there's provisions like that.
As long as I was the firstborn.
Yeah, but when it comes to like America only has that contract of marriage right now, but it doesn't stop you from, having sex. It doesn't say that that's marriage. So biblically speaking, it would always be indifferent with the government. That's why it's kind of like a clash a little bit when I answer that question.
So
It's the last question I'm going to take because I'm about to roll.
I'm saying, are you saying yes, they can?
I would say yes, polygamy should, but then at the same time, thinking about the contract of marriage currently, I don't think it would change anything amongst Americans themselves. Like our mental has to change when it comes to sex, not the contract that America provides.
But not legally, right? You're saying not legally speaking, Christians or believers of Christ cannot practice polygyny today in America, right?
Say that one more time. I want to make sure I got it right.
Are you saying legally today Christians can practice polygyny in America and not be sinning?
Yes.
Okay. Can you help me understand Romans 13:1 then?
Okay.
When it says everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, for there are no authorities except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, he who rebels against those authorities,
right,
and is rebelling what God has instituted. And those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. So in America, it is not legal to practice polygyny or, any form of multiple marriages.
By contract.
Right? It's called bigamy.
Right. You're talking about by contract, meaning I can't have a marriage contract in New Jersey where I live and then go to New York and get a marriage contract, go to another state, get a marriage. I can't do that. That's
So
what's
you're
illegal.
you're thinking it, but there was no contracts before. There were covenants, right?
But
So I
that's
think
the only thing that's illegal in America. Like you can have a girlfriend,
sure.
but you can have sex with her too, right?
Legally speaking, as long as it's consensual, right?
Yeah, consent. You can have consensual sex with your girlfriend, but you're not married. Now, under God's eyes, can you just have sex with other men and women?
I wouldn't have sex with them, and that'd be homosexuality.
No, I said men and women. I'm not trying to be
I know.
funny.
I would women.
When I'm saying you, I apologize. I was talking in general, like from an American perspective. Can people have sex with each other without the marriage certificate?
Yes.
Are they breaking the law?
As long as they are consenting to
Right.
consenting adults.
We agree that they're consenting, but are they breaking the law?
3 more minutes on this convo. Go ahead. You're good.
Are they breaking the law? No.
So then a man that has more than one, what America would call girlfriends, is also not breaking the law. So when we say polygyny, I'm calling them a wife because in my dynamic, a man has one girlfriend. That's his wife in my dynamic. Even though America says that's not a wife until you get the contract. So in my dynamic, if I have 2 women, I have 2 girlfriends, that's not illegal in America. I can call them a wife. I can call them wifey. I can call them my boo thing. I can call them sweetie. I can call them whatever I want to call them. As long as I do not have a marriage contract, I'm not breaking the law.
So you're hinging everything to the paper, like as long as I don't.
I'm hinging everything to God and that paper.
Well, no. Well, I would say God judges the heart of man, right?
Facts.
All right. So if your heart is saying that I'm going to do whatever, a workaround to get away from.
It's not a workaround.
I mean, it pretty much is in a sense, because you're saying I won't get married to this state. I get that. And I won't get married to the church. I get that. But if I'm going to have just girlfriends, well, then that would be fornication.
But first of all,
whether you call them wifey or girlfriend,
fornication is what men and women are doing right now, according to God.
I never. Well, not those that are married, right?
But they are married if they're having sex. See, this when I said that. But you trying to join
fornication is sex outside of the covenant of marriage.
Fornication, right? But sex is marriage in the Bible. Exodus 22 and 16. Exodus 22 and 16 says, if you entice a maid and lie with her.
If you take a woman and you take her virginity, you owe them the bride price. But it also says if the father doesn't accept that, then you owe her the price of the virgin.
No. That's not what that verse means. What that verse means, if the father
says, verbatim.
If the father refuses the marriage, he has to pay you to get his daughter back.
That's what I meant.
Right. Why does he have to pay to get the daughter back? Because they had sex. But in America, everybody is breaking God's laws. Wait a second. In America, everybody is breaking God's laws because of that piece of paper.
Yes, but with that verse, that verse does not say because if you have sex, you are married.
Why is he going to endow?
The consequences, he stole the virgin.
That's not a consequence. It don't say steal. It does not say steal.
It says if a man seduces a virgin
who is
not betrothed and lies with her, he shall give the bride price.
Why is he doing that?
Because
he had sex with her.
Yes, because
so now all of the people in America,
the woman is under the father's authority.
I don't disagree with none of that. But because he had sex with her,
did not get the authority.
I don't disagree with none of that. And all of the people in America that are having sex are
I'm talking
not
about the
paying
statute.
the dowry.
I get that. I'm not even
So
arguing
I'm
about
not
that. I'm
breaking
arguing
a
about
law.
the
You got to
statute.
tell me what law in America I'm breaking if I have 3 women.
What I'm saying is the heart. The heart. That's what
I
God
just
does
want to
with
know
the
what law
heart
I'm
in
breaking.
man. None, because you're not
Shalom.
married to
Then
any
we
of them,
good.
right?
I
Legally, you're
am
not
no
married to any of
no.
them.
To God, I'm married to all of them. To America, I'm
Okay,
not.
so then that's exactly what I'm saying. If you're saying to God you are married to all of them, and then to God said He put the authorities above you, and you have to obey the laws of the land. If you're saying
I'm
God,
not breaking no law.
I want you to
All
uphold
right,
my
fellas,
marriage.
that's the end of this convo. It's the end of this one. But good back and forth. Good back and forth. Y'all made it an
Yeah, I got
entire
the
debate. I
roll.
let it go on because it was getting kind of
Yeah.
good. So
No,
I
it
was like,
was.
all right, I'll just
I
let it go.
appreciate that too. And I am about to roll.
But I want you to know, I don't think polygyny is a sin in the Bible. Just so you know, I just
No,
think
that's
it's
fine.
a sin to be
No, it was a
practiced
good
in America
dialogue. I'm
because
cool
of the
with the
laws of the
dialogue.
land.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, good dialogue, man. Okay, and Cap, I know you got to go, but let me just get through some of these super chats. You got 10 minutes for me, man?
Yeah, I got 10 minutes, man.
Okay, appreciate you, man. All right, we got Rachel Wilson sends in $10. She says, marital grape was never legal. It was simply classified under assault or battery. As Andrew explained, he's just lying. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Any reply to that, Cap, or not?
Yeah, I'm just reading what's on the paper. Anybody can
fair
go
enough.
on the internet and it says marital rape was legal in every state until it became outlaw. The court case in question is Oregon versus Rideout, 1978.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We got let's see here. Few of these came in, and once again, chat, I am only reading $10 and up. We got a lot of $1, $2, $5 super chats. I would love to read them all, but we just don't have the time. But I do appreciate all of you for sending in the super chats, and let's drop a no fugazi for you guys.
No fugazi.
All right, we got I guess it's sends in $10. 1 Timothy 3 verse 2 says, an overseer must be, not sure, I guess he written that in Greek, but don't know how to read Greek, bro. I don't know what you just said. Or then he says, okay, a one woman man, okay. The Greek is singular, exclusive, and moral, clearly rejecting polygamy in marriage and heart. Any reply back to that?
No, it's just not unlawful.
He's saying First Timothy. What'd you say?
Yeah, it's just not unlawful. When people pull up law on a bishop, must be blameless. That, first of all, if I take it in their literal misunderstanding, it's talking about a bishop and a deacon. So even if I was to take it literally, that means only the bishop or deacon. But the idea that this means that no other man outside of these titles, so the blacksmith, the welder, the weapons maker, the armor bearer, they could all have another woman if they wanted to. So this is a horrible example to say that you cannot have more than one wife, because that's not what the verse is talking about.
Fair enough. We got I'm a hunter, says in $10. So he pulls up defense in relation to force. Got the answer, then says that the answer he got was wrong and that Google doesn't understand what he thinks it means, rather than admitting he was wrong. Any
I don't think
reply
I
to
said
that?
the meaning of defense was wrong. I just looked it up. I don't know if I would have to go back and listen. I don't recall saying that.
Yeah, I think when Andrew was speaking about force, you said, well, what about defense? You said that's not force, and Andrew
I
said,
disagreed
well, that's
in principle that it was wrong, because I looked at defense as something that you're only doing because someone is attacking to you. Because the force that Cooley was talking about, that is,
Andrew.
I'm sorry, Andrew, is when
Yeah.
you're on the offensive. I don't look at somebody as being defensive as forcing. But if you want
Got
to
it.
call it forcing, that's fine. So that's what I meant by that.
So yeah, not forcing, like not like enforce. So when Andrew is referring to forced doctrine, he's just speaking about force in general. So like on offense, they use force. You're using physical force, and then also on defense, even though you are defending yourself, you would be using physical force. So
But
that's
forced
just what it
doctrine,
means
when
by
I
that.
look up forced doctrine, Cooley, just so everybody can understand, it says forced doctrine typically refers to the imposition of a specific set of belief, principles, or practices upon a group of individuals, often through coercion or pressure. So even coercion doesn't have to be physical force; it could be talking.
Yeah, so I do believe that means like if you are trying to legislate and put things in law so it can be enforced, the process of getting your ideology or whatever you want, like a right to be enforced, you can use coercion. Like politicians, you can use coercion, you can
Bribes.
use influence, bribes, you can use all of these type of things to win the vote, then so men can enforce the right. That's what that's pretty much saying. But okay, cool. We got Samurai Smack sends in $20. Appreciate the support. He says, if sleeping with a woman means you are married to her and she had multiple previous partners that you didn't know of, is she married to all of them? Question. If so, by sleeping with her, are you unknowingly committing adultery?
You wouldn't be charged. Okay, in the book of Acts, Paul says it was a time when God winked at our ignorance, but have now called us all to repentance. So what does that mean? That same scenario, let's say if that woman had 10 boyfriends before she got to you, but she's single in her mind when she got to you. And then you start learning that, of course, sex is marriage. The common thing is to think about your sexual past. But what you did in your past doesn't count once you get the knowledge of the truth. Hebrews 10:26 says, if you sin willfully after getting the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice of sins. So once you get that knowledge, if that woman was to know she got a current man and still tell you after she got that knowledge that she don't have a man, then she's committing adultery. But if she don't tell you and you sleep with her and you don't know, that's not adultery. It's only adultery once you know and then still sleep with her. Now you're an adulterer.
Fair enough. We got Sin City, sends in $15. Solomon, man, Andrew needs to stop over talking when his back is against the wall. He's not letting Cap get his point across before trying to show his oppression genes. Yo, y'all in the chat, bro. Yo, the chat. Yo, y'all in the chat, man. Y'all funny, dog. Y'all funny. We got Black Row sends in $10. So I appreciate the support. We got okay, this is Rachel Wilson. She sends in $20. She says, just in case the $10 wasn't enough to get up there and to support the channel. Okay, she already sent this in before. I do appreciate the support of Rachel Wilson. We got Tyga sends in $20. Easy W for Andrew. Taz is a racist and heretic, perverting the word of God to suit his narrative and lead people astray. He has trouble pronouncing 3-letter words, and he didn't even know what still man meant. Wow, sad. Any rebuttal to that?
I do want to respond to that. I don't know if he's white or black, but somebody called. If he's white and he's called,
he's white. He was up here before. I think he was the second person you spoke to.
Black person racist in America is absurd. And I think while I was delayed, like you see how I got this cord in my headphones now. When I was talking before, I was using a Bluetooth connection, so there was like a half-second delay, like when I was talking. So when I was talking, you know how you can hear yourself in the headphones. So I was hearing myself delayed, which was throwing me off when I was talking. So that's why I was kind of a little delayed. But that's all I say. Like I don't care if somebody called me racist because I love my people. If I love my people, what am I supposed to be? And white people love their people, Chinese people love their people. I don't have a problem with people loving their people. I only have a problem when you attack another people based on their race. And I've never attacked anybody physically based on their race, ever. I debate people, and even debating is not attacking. Like, what I like about me and Andrew's debate, at the end of it, when the debate was over, we said we cool. It's just the heat of the debate. Even when his wife came on it, the reason why I didn't want to go back and forth, because I didn't like that she was calling me a black supremacist, XYZ like that. I just debated her husband. So out of respect for her husband, I said I didn't want to go back and forth because I didn't want to end up talking to her crazy because I feel like she's talking to me crazy. That's actual respect. Now, if I was just this outright racist, whether that was Andrew's wife or not, I would have just started calling her all type of names because she calling me a black supremacist, and it would have been like that. So I think there's a clear difference, because if I wanted to, I would have been hard on his wife if I was like that.
And you know what, Cap, I can respect that because, you know, when I had her up, and shout out to Rachel Wilson, she's a supporter of mine. I'm definitely a supporter of hers and everything that they have going over there at the Crucible. I definitely was interested in hearing out, you know, the questions and maybe even getting you to answer some of the questions or just hearing the argument.
Right.
But it sucks that it didn't get to that. But I do respect the fact that you're like, you know what, I could say crazy things, but coolly just take her off.
Right.
And it was a moment that popped into my brain. I'm like, nah, I want this. Let's go on. Let's go crazy. But I'm like, nah, because I don't want anyone to disrespect a friend of mine's wife either.
Right.
And I don't want that to happen. So I'm like, you know what? And also, you're a guest of mine. So I'm like,
and I didn't
let me just go ahead and
you see the other
have
two
her
guys
off.
on there, like we was able to go back and forth and not agree. But nobody called nobody black supremacist, white supremacist, or nothing like that. I don't think those things needed to be on there. And that's a lesson I'm going to make a clip out of, though, and show how she didn't have no respect for her husband. That's what I am going to say. But I'll take one more question and I'm gone.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's get to the $50 super chat then, because that looks like that was a question.
Hey, somebody messaged me and said,
okay, here we go.
Somebody messaged me and said his wife just proved monogamy don't work because he can't control her. That's what somebody messaged me.
Okay, we got Zensient sends him $50. Shout outs to Zensient. Zensient, man. I think you was in the chat before. Used to support a whole lot, Zensient. So welcome back to No Fugazi Podcast. I do appreciate the support. Zensient says, who the F is this weak woman, Taza? It repeatedly asked for silence and non-interruption from its opposition, but continued to interrupt them. That is some weak female-ish. Cooley must remove it before. Cooley must remove it based on its own standards of pandantic bullish. Okay. All right. That was a lot.
I'm glad she paid you $50 to say all of that. I mean, whatever it was, I'm cool with that, man. But Cooley, I appreciate you having me on. I do got to go now. I keep saying Randy. Andrew said he wanted to do a part, so I'm down with that too. You know, we come up with a different topic or whatever like that.
Cap, once again, just like I told Andrew, thank you for coming on. Chat, if you like the debate on Cap's side, go ahead and follow Cap. His page is tagged in the title. Andrew Wilson's page is also tagged in the title. You can go ahead and follow Andrew Wilson as well. I'm going to go ahead and chop it up with you guys and wrap up a little bit. But Cap, any last words?
No, again, I appreciate it, man. No Fugazi bringing me on, actually facilitating this. I talked to him through the back chat. He facilitated it. I appreciate it. And as always, man, anytime you want to bring me on, just hit me up. I look forward to, building with you again.
I got you, man. Right, appreciate you, brother. Have a blessed one, man.
Peace.
Right,
peace. Go ahead and exit out.
All right. So, ladies and gents, this was a...
All right, party people. Let's go ahead and stop the screen share. Let me put me back up top. I mean, gee. Monetti. That debate? Great job, Captain. Shout out to Mika. Cap did his thing. Salute. Tazaryach gets much respect. Shalom, my brothers. This was a good battle. I thought it was good. I thought it was I think it went exactly. I tell you what though, I was surprised that he stayed in the Bible as long as he did. I was surprised by that. I didn't expect him to do that. But it was a good debate overall. It's 3 hours and 44 minutes. I think I've talked enough. So I am gonna separate. Damn, 3 hours and 44 minutes. What time is it? Jesus Christ. But I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. If y'all haven't subscribed, make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure you thumb up the video. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. I hope y'all liked it. He said he wanted to do a part 2. Who knows what we'll talk about the next time. He definitely tried to do some gaslighting. And I was expecting that. I always watch my opponents. He clearly watches me, so he said some things about me that I didn't know where he was getting his ideas from. Maybe he'll do a better job next time. Maybe he'll study more. But his wife coming on there. Oh, let me see if I could do something real fast. Bear me 1 second, y'all. Hold on. Before we go, let me see something. I didn't know my mic sounded like this in this debate. But I want to. Yeah, you see how she called me Captain Wakanda? I didn't know she called me. Look, I'm gonna do something real fast. I did not know she called me Captain Wakanda. I didn't even hear that. Hold on. I'm gonna show you. His wife is a monster. Monster, man. Jesus Christ. So let me see. Wait, let me come over here. Let's maximize. I did not know she called me Wakanda. I did not know that she called me Captain Wakanda.
Wilson's wife, if you don't know, Captain Tazaryach.
No, I didn't know.
Okay. Hey, Andrew, Rachel Wilson, welcome to the chat. Can you hear me?
Captain Wakanda.
Me?
I think I can hear you good. Can you say something again?
Check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay, great. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off my headphones just to make sure they don't try to reconnect, because I think that's what the issue was. Okay, so first, I just wanted to address the absolute lie that the wife beater thing came from white men, because the CDC says that the rate of intimate partner violence is actually almost twice as high among blacks as it is among whites. It's a general rate of about 5.7% of the population for whites and about 9.2% for blacks. 44% of black women compared to 35% of white women, saying that they're
See how I was
domestic violence. So this idea that it's a white.
Y'all see how I didn't interrupt her the whole time she was talking? The whole time she talking, I didn't say not one word while she was talking. Not one.
Guy thing, totally false. But I do have a question for Captain Wakanda here. Do you like playing Russian roulette?
No.
Are you a big fan of taking big risks?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious, because if you want to have multiple wives, and I'm guessing you want them all to be black, since you seem to be a bit of a black supremacist, but I didn't know if you were aware that
you see my face? Listen, man, when people say things, I think they try to get some rise out of me, but did you see my face? I ain't even budged when she said it. I didn't budge by nothing that she said at all.
To have 6 times higher the rate of herpes, 5 times higher the rate of chlamydia, 7 times higher the rate of gonorrhea, 8.5 times higher the rate of syphilis, and 10 times higher rate of HIV than white women. So if you're going to have multiple black wives, those are rough odds.
Well, what I would prefer, listening is an art. And when I talked about the wife beater, anybody can look that up. The term wife beater for white tank top originated in its association with negative stereotype of abusive men, and it was a white man in 1947 that it came from. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
that has
about.
nothing to do
Don't
with
interrupt
your.
me. Don't interrupt me, please. I didn't interrupt you the whole time you talk. You call me a black supremacist because I'm not a black supremacist because I'm not just about black people.
Okay, look.
I'm
She
about my
interrupt right away.
Latino people,
I almost
Native
turned
Indian
into
people. There's a
polite.
lot of people that I love. So
Wait,
please
hold
don't
on.
call me a black. Yo, I almost, you know why I stopped it? Because I almost turned into like how I would talk. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped it. Maybe I should have kept going. And she'd have been all type of white. Ain't no telling what she would have been. It was about to go bad because I was about to go supremacist. Once again,
white people,
you got
right?
listen. If you can't be quiet, I would just respectfully ask Cooley to remove you. I didn't interrupt you one time when you talk. I see why Andrew is your husband because both of y'all can't shut the fuck up. Thank you. So, as I was saying, the term wife beater, which I said, originated from a white man. That was my talking point. I didn't say only white men beat women. I would never say nothing that stupid. But stupid people would believe that I said that. And then when you talk about, once again, hey, Cooley, I'm cool. Because I don't want to talk to Andrew's wife disrespectful. Right, so if you could just see how I stopped it right there, showed my superiority. I said, I'm cool. And I think, let me tell you something. When a man's woman joins the fight, that's how you know they got their ass whooped. Because a man's woman does not join the fight unless they feel like they man. If they man got it, if they man handle business, that man don't join the fight. Excuse me, that woman don't join the fight. She just enjoy the splendors of her man whooping ass. She should have been giving him some head, giving him some of that nasty white vagina or something like that. Instead, she got to hop on a live and try to correct me and get me. So I keep that. Hey man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. I gotta give my general call, give him a report. This has been Captain Tazaryach of ISUPK under Commanding Jenny Hanna. And as a side note, I wouldn't be me if I didn't say this part though. Part of the reason I wanted to, and you can ask Cooley, part of the reason I wanted to debate Andrew Wilson is because now I can have this debate separate from when I joined that one that Gorilla Hebrew and them always was in. It's just me. All right. So until next time, Shalom Israel.